take the ace, and they look to take the game.
And then as we rolled into game 2, Maokai was picked again.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring
Maokai, the Twisted Treant.
Maokai is a support tank hybrid.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Bold move.
Overall,
Normally Darius is only reserved for those counter picks, and it looks like they're just going to respond with Maokai.
And the team was entirely green, so they kind of had the aesthetic advantage for the Big Bongo Boys. For the first 22 minutes, I kind of got distracted watching the LCS. 100 Thieves did win, to a big surprise of all the casters, and then we moved back into the game, where Baron and Soulpoint were both hit here by CLB.
Towards this dragon, we do have good death running up from base. Let's see if we can get here in time.
And this dragon is down to 9k HP. They opt to pull it out, so the potential steal is has a lot less potential to happen. The Maokai ulti for the engage. They want to make this happen. The Wombo combo, but the bullet time is just barely out of range, but it's not going to matter in the end. The Deathball comes too strong, but this Twitch is free firing in the backline. Field Death trying to stall time for his 80 carry, but in a 1v4, when you're already routed and they're already on top of you, they make it look easy.
With CLB taking a massive victory in the second game and this series, it seemed like the casters had gone to Hogwarts, because every single time they were casting and made predictions, they just put a caster curse down on poor Big Bongo Boys.
The series is taken by Clarity Black.
And that was Risen Unstoppable for the night. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Risen recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a bang, Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up, come
But
on,
I gotta say, he was smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo Boys playing up against Clarity Black. For the first 20 minutes of the game, it was a bit of fighting in the top lane, but not much happened besides that.
Oh, but the engage coming out from Sejuani, but it's trading back, and Maokai actually regenerated a lot more health than I would expected there.
For Boxer Squirrel, just really those kind of impacts making a huge difference in the gold.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I want to call them Triple B, BBB, or Big Bongo Boys, because they're not all same solos.
Then there was a mega turnaround fight for the Big Bongo Boys after they made a big dragon attempt, but then they got challenged again for the dragon attempt, which Big Bongo Boys won the fight towards.
On this side, and there's a 3v3 on the other side, but I can't clutch to it, and I can't clutch to it. But Boxer Squirrel in the midst of it all, unable to get too much out, but finds the Q before he's last. Dies, and Chicken Fried Rice to an escape with good depth does not unfortunately have the W enough up to heal him. And the call comes back in the Shuriken Flip finds one. Can she find two? No, she gets shut down, and the exchange of lives is so insane. Can Maokai find the damage retrieval back? And he does, but unfortunately, it is the ace on the side of CLB that allows them to get this dragon.
Much later in the game, Big Bongo Boys chased Akali down in the bot lane, meaning that Clarity Black had so much freedom to take that first Baron, and from that Baron, they spiraled away from a team fight and took the victory.
The higher ranked Clarity Black, and honestly, still
find
performing
Akali
extremely well.
Oh, and she can't get out, simply tries to ulti over the wall, but that's crucial. 4 members sent down. This is the freest Baron I've seen, and it's incredibly hard to siege anything. As we're talking about that, the dragon does in fact spawn.
This will be a very important fight. Dragon Soul on the line. Let's see.
This is so easy, and the onslaught of shadows into all of the members. We talk about Wombo on one side, we talk about Wombo on the other side, but the bullet time is not correctly pinned on enough members to make it worth it and to make it so they can make this comeback. And unfortunately, at the end, CLB take the ace, and they look to take the game.
And then as we rolled into game 2, Maokai was picked again.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring
Maokai, the Twisted Treant.
Maokai is a support tank hybrid.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Bold move.
Overall,
Normally Darius is only reserved for those counter picks, and it looks like they're just going to respond with Maokai.
And the team was entirely green, so they kind of had the aesthetic advantage for the Big Bongo Boys. For the first 22 minutes, I kind of got distracted watching the LCS. 100 Thieves did win, to a big surprise of all the casters, and then we moved back into the game, where Baron and Soulpoint were both hit here by CLB.
Towards this dragon, we do have good death running up from base. Let's see if we can get here in time.
And this dragon is down to 9k HP. They opt to pull it out, so the potential steal has a lot less potential to happen. The Maokai ulti for the engage. They want to make this happen. The Wombo combo, but the bullet time is just barely out of range, but it's not going to matter in the end. The Deathball comes too strong, but this Twitch is free firing in the backline. Gil Death trying to stall time for his AD carry, but in a 1v4, when you're already routed and they're already on top of you, they make it look easy.
With CLB taking a massive victory in the second game and this series, it seemed like the casters had gone to Hogwarts because every single time they were casting and made predictions, they just put a caster curse down on poor Big Bongo Boys.
The series is taken by Clarity Black.
And that was Risen Unstoppable for the night. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Risen Recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a bang, Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up,
But I gotta say, he was smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo Boys playing up against Clarity Black. For the first 20 minutes of the game, it was a bit of fighting in the top lane, but not much happened besides that.
Oh, but the engage coming out from Sejuani, but it's trading back, and Maokai actually regenerated a lot more health than I would expected there.
For Boxer Squirrel, just really those kind of impacts making a huge difference in the gold.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I want to call them Triple B, BBB, or Big Bongo Boys, because they're all, actually, they're not all same solos.
Then there was a mega turnaround fight for the Big Bongo Boys after they made a big dragon attempt, but then they got challenged again for the dragon attempt, which Big Bongo Boys won the fight towards.
On this side, and there's a 3v3 on the other side, but I can't punch to it, and I can't cut to it. But Boxer Squirrel in the midst of it all, unable to get too much out, but finds the Q before his last dies, and Chicken Fried Rice to escape with good depth does not unfortunately have the W enough up to heal him, and the call comes back in the circuit, but finds one. Can she find two? No, she gets shut down, and the exchange of lives is so insane. Can Maokai find the damage retrieval back? And he does, but unfortunately, it is the ace on the side of CLB that allows them to get this dragon.
Much later in the game, Big Bongo Boys chased Akali down in the bot lane, meaning that Clarity Black had so much freedom to take that first Baron, and from that Baron, they spiraled away from a team fight and took the victory.
The higher ranked Clarity Black, and honestly, still
find
performing
Akali
extremely well.
Oh, and she can't get out, simply tries to ulti over the wall, but that's crucial. 4 members sent down. This is the freest Baron I've seen, and it's incredibly hard to siege anything. As we're talking about that, the dragon does in fact fall.
This will be a very important fight. Dragon Soul on the line. Let's see.
This is so easy, and the onslaught of shadows into all of the members. We talk about Wombo on one side, we talk about Wombo on the other side, but the whole time is not correctly pinned on enough members to make it worth it and to make it so they can make this comeback. And unfortunately, at the end, CLB take the lead, and they look to take the game.
And then as we rolled into game 2, Maokai was picked again.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring
Maokai, the Twisted Treant.
Maokai is a support tank hybrid.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Bold move.
Overall,
Normally Darius is only reserved for those counter picks, and it looks like they're just going to respond with Maokai.
And the team was entirely green, so they kind of had the aesthetic advantage for the Big Bongo Boys. For the first 22 minutes, I kind of got distracted watching the LCS. 100 Thieves did win, to a big surprise of all the casters, and then we moved back into the game, where Baron and Soulpoint were both hit here by CLB.
Towards this dragon, we do have good depth running up from base. Let's see if we can get here in time.
And this dragon is down to 9k HP. They opt to pull it out, so the potential steal is has a lot less potential to happen. The Maokai ulti for the engage. They want to make this happen. The Wombo combo, but the bullet time is just barely out of range, but it's not going to matter in the end. The Deathball comes too strong, but this Twitch is free firing in the backline. Gil Death trying to stall time for his AD carry, but in a 1v4, when you're already routed and they're already on top of you, they make it look easy.
With CLB taking a massive victory in the second game and this series, it seemed like the casters had gone to Hogwarts because every single time they were casting and made predictions, they just put a caster curse down on poor Big Bongo Boys.
The series is taken by Clarity Black.
And that was Risen Unstoppable for the night. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Risen Recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a bang, Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up.
But I gotta say, he was smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo.
Hey everybody, welcome to playoffs for Risen Draft. My name is Haru, and we are here with the stunning casters Lucan and DBZ. How are you both doing? It's going to be a 5 game series. Hopefully.
I'm already tired. Like I'll be honest. Like I heard that I was doing like one game tonight, and then when they told me it was gonna possibly be 5, I actually was like, I'm like, wow. Like I wish that we had some sort of energy drink sponsorship. That's the reality of this situation here. Yeah, like something like a fuel that would be like for gamers, right? That would like just like some gunk that you could have that you like you
Yeah.
drink, right?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
What is it,
Nice.
DVC? What is it?
It's a nice, refreshing drink called G Fuel. We should totally be
Oh,
sponsored
yeah, we're
by the
sponsored.
G Fuel. If you're watching this, please sponsor us. Not sponsored, by the way.
That's like gonna be a line you will use until eventually you get sponsored.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
you'll
honestly.
never ever have to say that ever again. But
See, at that point, then I
anyways,
have to say it is sponsored, but you know.
well, it's
Maybe.
looking like
Maybe.
even though we're a little tired, we're excited because it's playoffs. I'm excited. Any thoughts on maybe picks that you want to see today come out?
So, for those of you playing at home right now, it is the first game of the Draft League quarterfinals. First up, we have Staff Sucks versus Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. Now, I casted Stephen Hawking's Dance Club with Hyper last week. We got to see them win their best of 3 against. I already forgot. Now, upon like that's who they played against to qualify for the quarterfinals and get into the spot. Now they're up against the reigning top seed from the other division, Staff Sucks. This could be a potentially good series for me personally. I enjoy like both of these teams like do like in terms of like their playstyle and whatnot. Um, I'm curious to see what could happen. It could go either way. I honestly think, funny enough, the game is gonna come down to like how the supports will shape this series. So I was looking at both the supports, and we have Reximus on Staff Sucks, who tends to play like more like enchanters with the occasional engage once probably called for. 96 games on Braum, by the way. And then I already forget who the support is on as I'm looking. Hold on.
Wait, hold up. Did you say Braum?
Yes, Reximus plays Braum over on the side of Stephen Hawking's Dance Club.
Wait, what? I actually have a Braum doll specifically for this occasion. Ironically.
What?
So yes, I
I'm
would love
pretty
to see
sure.
Braum
So
pop
there's
out.
because you're not a caster, you can't give them the caster curse. Therefore, the reverse must be the case. So in other words,
Ooh,
Reximus wins lane.
correct.
That's how that logic works, right?
Yeah, that's how that works.
Right? Pretty
And
sure.
on the other side, you have literally Sad, who is the support for Staff Sucks. As I was looking at some of his champ pool, not really anything I could see that like stood out to me. They're mostly an 80 carry main, so this could be either way, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to definitely wait and see. These games are gonna be exciting. Could we go to all 5 games potentially? I hope so, but also hope not, because I have to be up early tomorrow morning, so make this series quick. Or if you do go to 5 games, at least make them bangers. Make them bang.
You know how I love when you predict the games and I write it down. I've been doing my homework. I have 5 cards, blank cards specifically, so we can write down predictions for
Oh, okay.
both you and DVZ and Lucan. So I'm excited to see. So we'll predict after the draft. We're gonna see. I'll write it down and then I'll even sign it.
Okay.
Sounds good. I like that.
And if you do
So,
well, you get the Poro kisses from this
nice.
cute Poro and Braum. Ironically, Poro is bigger than Braum. So.
Hey, Braum would probably tame that thing somehow. So, the teams are getting ready to gear up, and this should be exciting. I'm hoping that like this this goes crazy and whatnot. And this is my first cast with you, Lucan. We've never
Yes.
casted together before, so I'm looking forward to this.
This is
I'm looking forward to it as well too. I'm usually a very loud person, but apparently you're also a very loud person. So I'm thinking that like with the both of our loudness by the end of this, or at least by like the second game, everybody's gonna have really, really bad eardrums. So
I don't apologize to the audience.
no, I don't either. One of the team's names is Staff Sucks, so I mean like I have no sympathy for them. I am Staff. I don't suck. Don't tell me that. That's not true.
Okay, you
Better
don't
not be
suck,
true.
but you don't want to like make everybody deaf. So as a warning, everyone, please turn your headphones down or some volume down as it gets a little exciting. No, actually keep it off. Keep it on.
Yeah.
Get deaf.
Yeah. You got to
Turn
deal
it-
with it.
We want to be heard.
It's just as much as it's our problem that we're loud, it's your problem too. You showed up here, you tuned in, you knew what you were told. This is what's going to happen. It looks like we are going to hop into the draft here.
Yes,
I
so
think
I
both the
will
teams
see you
are
guys.
ready. So I guess let's pop in and see what's popping. You know, like that's kind of
What's poppin'?
What's popping?
What's
Over
poppin'?
on Staff Sucks, we don't. It looks like we're gonna see hover for an
Aatrox first.
Aatrox brand, and there it is, the immediate ban out of the Aatrox.
Yeah,
I'm kind of
expected.
curious to know, DBZ, what is your read? The Heimerdinger ban was something to go back to, but what is your read so far on? I think you said it was Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. Awesome name, by the way.
Yeah,
And how they play, because I'm not familiar with these teams yet, and I would kind of like to know what your read is on what they're trying to do in this game.
So Stephen Hawking's Dance Club has a tendency to play, especially through their top jungle, with the occasional also mid lane focus as well. But then they completely threw us off during their qualification game for this by playing a lot through the bot lane, which is why that Kai'Sa ban is coming through, because Kai'Sa was the highly contested pick for Stephen Hawking's Dance Club in that series. In it went all three games because of that pick essentially, and it was nuts. So.
Apparently, it's enough for where they're gonna ban it against Staff Sucks though too, into them. So there might be some threat over there from Staff Sucks as well.
I think so. Yeah, I think Flevo plays a little bit of it as well. I don't remember if I've casted a game with Staff Sucks or not. I might have, but I'm not entirely sure. But in the meantime, as we're rounding out the bans here, it looks like we got a Mordekaiser coming in for Staff Sucks, and SHDC what will be their final ban? I'm not surprised to see the Hybrid ban, considering how obnoxious that is. And Tristana, so kind of an 80 carry focused ban phase.
They evidently do think that it's going to be more of an ADC centric playstyle, or at least that they have more agency from that lane there. That being said you hadn't seen anything from Staff Sucks yet. It does look like we are already kind of getting to know what they're all about. If they do lock in that Jinx pick, that is not a very common pick to see in the current meta, but I have heard that it has been picking up in its priority lately, and it's locked in. So
yeah, she's still pretty ridiculous. A game, I think it was game 2 of SHDC versus Now Upon Light, where Jinx kind of just took over the game when she hit her item spike, and I think she started that game even ahead. And it's just that champion is so hard to deal with when she gets ahead, and it's really, really, really hilarious also because she can just rocket from halfway across the map, kill you, and just take a free gold. The Aphelios answer I kind of like. Once again, you know. Yeah, that hyper carry that they need to be able to contend with the Jinx later in the game. Aphelios definitely can do that as that carry. It just depends on what you pair them with. Now, I expect some enchanters probably to come out because you have Aphelios Lulu, which is like the bot lane pick for Aphelios, and then for Jinx on the other side, probably the Soraka. It's really weird seeing Soraka, just how hard in the meta she is right now. And
Renata though, and I agree with Renata as well too. So there's a few things that I do know about the champions that have already been picked here, and the biggest portion that I can say is that at least over on to Staff Suck sides, they are at least going to be looking for longer form team fights with a hyper scaling ADC, and then over on Aphelios with Renata, you're kind of looking for a similar thing as well too. With that being the case though, and you putting kind of all your eggs in your basket towards the ADC, I think it's a really good answer to bring in the Jarvan, so you do have some of that backline dive and the early game pressure towards whatever other lane you want to be kind of throwing it at. That being said though, Aphelios, Yuumi, oh boy, if we do see that, I've got some other comments, but to close out this, Aphelios and Renata, immediate Olaf. Wow. All right.
Okay.
I'll speak my words afterwards. You go ahead and take a look at these last two picks here before the next ban round here.
Well, Yuumi, you have pretty much unlimited sustain, and you're pretty much expecting her to be the ball onto Jarvan. Like it's like the delivery service, the cat delivery service with Jarvan. He can jump in the back lane, threaten the ultimate immediately with Yumi's ultimate on top of it, and it can pretty much provide so much lockdown. Now you flip that with the Olaf Lilia ban, which is interesting. You flip that with the Olaf, who can negate all of that and just run at your back line. And I honestly think Olaf is a pretty good answer into this. I also I don't know if Staff Sucks was watching, because the Olaf top was an absolute menace. The menace. I mean that he ended up, I think, with the highest damage in the game and didn't die the whole game. So this is gonna be really interesting to see if this Olaf pops off exactly how he did last week.
It is.
Now,
Definitely a scary champion. I'll give it that much. I cannot speak to how many times I have seen an Olaf just run at you and do not care what you throw at him, whether it's the kitchen sink or the entire kitchen. He will keep coming at you and you are gone. Generally, most of the time, only if he's ahead. But that being said, nothing really stops him when he is unstoppable. With the closeout here, it does look like they want to stop that Galio-Jarvan combination. I don't blame them. It is very difficult to deal with if you are going to be having to deal with something on the back line that can just jump on top of you and knock up your entire team when you're looking for that kind of team fight. That being said, another safe pick taken away from them in the Victor, and it looks like, weirdly enough, the set's taken away. I don't necessarily agree with that at the moment, considering what I would consider to be the composition right now of oh man, I keep looking at it and saying SDHD. Okay, I'll make my comments after. I have a good idea as to what they're doing here, but I do think that last bend might not have been necessarily required. That going forward, though, we got Vigar and a Fiddlesticks. I don't want to be talking too much here, but I do already have comments on all of them. DBZ, what are you thinking so far with what you see here? What do your elven eyes see?
the Oryx to a north. No, anyways, I would have to, if they left in this field, that'd be weird, because it would imply maybe it's Jarvan top. Okay, because I don't think you do fiddle in a solo lane, so it's probably Jarvan top here.
I've heard rumors. I've heard rumors of the mythical Fid mid. Okay. Now, is it true? I don't know. If it is, I'll have a little faith. I respect it at the very least, but you are going to have to try really hard to make that work. Although I do think that it definitely can if you want to go some sort of jump scare comp here. But I do have comments for that as well, too, as they close out the last band with Sejuani. All right, let's see what we got next coming in from there. But to close out the last of the picks, what are we expecting here? I will say, out of everything that I've seen, everything from Stephen Hawking's Dance Club has enforced that they want disengage. They want disengage, then re-engage, and they want to be controlling zones and holding on to vision areas and then waiting for the fight to come to them and then turning it back around and saying, you made a mistake, checkmate, right? So going from there, we're going to be seeing some sort of, once again, multi-purpose role here, because you still do need to have the ability to go back in again, but you also want to have that disengage. The fear from Hecarim from his ultimate is very strong in those kind of close-knit team fights to allow them to re-engage back or even to find a pick when they absolutely need to. I do think that's the kind of power that we can see from that happening, but that being said, I've considered a few possibilities here as well, too, with it being Sedge top and a Jarvan mid as well, too. Although I will say, that'd be horrible into Vigar. That's my first thought.
Yeah. So, the one thing I'm definitely seeing from both comps, so from SHDC, I'm seeing scale into the late game with the Vigar and the Aphelios to be able to just shred everybody. But what I'm seeing from Staff Sucks, potentially, is we're fighting for the Jinx entirely.
Yeah. I feel like they'd be fighting for to get the Jinx ahead so that they can kind of steamroll the team fights without having to worry so much about I guess what they have as a team comp altogether. The flip side of it as well too is I do feel that Staff Sucks is like, well, when you've got Stephen Hawking's Dance Club, it's like you've got all the pieces together from like all the different Megazords of the Power Rangers, and like when you put them together, they're awesome, right? You've got the Megazord, right? But then like apart, they're not that great. Like they kind of lose a lot, like more often than not, really. They're just kind of not great. But like when they are together, man, they're awesome. And on the flip side of that, you've got like individual like micro pieces together here where it's like, oh yeah, like they're the Transformers, right? They're like, one of them is like, you've got Jinx, who's the Optimus Prime, and then you've got the Yumi, who's like the trailer, which I mean like has a gun on it to my understanding. So I mean like that's pretty cool. It adds to the whole dynamic. But you only need a couple of them to actually do a lot of things. Well, I do feel that you do need the entire portion to work together. So that being said, I would like to say that they do have their strengths and advantages, but what's your take on it? Especially not knowing where this Fiddlesticks is going or this Jarvan's going or what's happening there. Overall, what kind of do you think from that point?
kind of want to wait and see because we get the cheat code, we get to see in
Yeah, we
draft,
do.
like we get to see the actual draft of where the fiddle is gonna go. I also want to get like Haru's thoughts on it real quick while we do this.
True. Yeah, I do. I want to hear her thoughts on Power Rangers versus Transformers.
So, yeah,
Hi.
what do you think? What based on what you saw, Haru? What do you think about both the comps here?
Um, s- so first of all, I love Power Rangers and I love Transformers. But more than both, I love Sailor Moon. And you can actually use I grew up on Mew Mew Power. So
Okay.
and so like you said, Lucan, that is true. Like apart, they're just kind of weaklings. And then together, they're like One Punch Man.
Oh,
Oh,
One Punch Man's a pretty bold claim for them to
Anyways,
be. Like that's basically saying they can't lose like,
No.
at all.
So anyways,
they go together, they find one person, and they are gone, which is pretty
I've
true.
seen it.
I'm actually going to interrupt for a second because now we finally know where the fiddle is going. So it will be a Fiddlesticks mid.
Oh boy!
I've seen it. It's
Okay.
really, really good if the fiddle's good at roaming. Especially
yeah.
if they
Yeah.
have jungling skills, especially. They're like, yeah, I'll just go with the jungler and funnel and destroy all of you with my ult from behind the wall. And then you have a Zac jungle. It's just too much. I love
You
it.
definitely get to that point where you can kind of like scale up faster. It's
Yeah.
just like from what I remember too. It's like getting there is the hard part because at the end of the day you're a fiddlesticks in lane. I do think that you might have some form of problems if you've got pressure being put into that lane and you're not able to kind of absorb it. That being said, if they're looking to just like pop people out of vision and off of bad rotations, I think it could work really well with them with this team comp.
He also has like good vision with
Yes.
this
Yeah.
I'm
like
just
that
curious.
too. So.
I'm just curious how this is gonna go. I mean, if it was any other mid laner, I'd probably have different opinions. But against the
So,
Vigar,
so I wrote
That's like
predictions for game one. So I actually I know you're curious to my prediction, but I want to write down this first before we get into the actual game.
Okay.
So first of all, for overall, what do you think? Staff sucks or Stephen Hawking's Dance Club?
I don't know.
Okay, so that we can save that. But what about game one? Because first of all, I'm looking at all the picks for both. We talked about Jinx being really strong last game, but we got like the Olaf and the Renata as
Yeah.
well. So, like it could go either way. And I personally, I just always cheer for the underdogs. So, my pick always goes to underdogs automatically. And I respect both teams. I just love the underdogs normally because I used to be an underdog always. So my heart goes to the underdogs. But both of you are just like savage in your own ways, and you're not like me. So what do you what do you think? Power Rangers or Transformers?
If Hubris pops off as big as he does last week, this game is actually doomed for Staff Sucks. But I could be completely wrong. Because the last time Hubris played Olaf, Homeboy literally ran over the whole team. He ran over the top lane, but that was actually came down also to a skill discrepancy. I don't think it's going to be the same thing here, possibly. But I honestly think purely through Olaf and just the way the champion is, and I think this game's going to go to SHDC first. Now, in terms of the series, I want to say because Staff Sucks is undefeated, there is a chance that this could go to at least 4 games. So I'm gonna for overall I'm gonna go 3-1 to Staff Sucks. That's where I'm going.
okay. I'm gonna step in here. Now, I do have an opinion. It is fairly well informed. It is very objective. Absolutely no bias whatsoever. There is not a doubt in my mind that based off of all the statistics that I have seen, of which I have seen so many, that Staff Sucks is going to lose because that's mean. I'm Staff. Now, yeah, I don't think it's fair. Like I like the Fiddlesticks. The Fiddlesticks is a very cool pick, and I usually go with really weird picks. And I think that like you should enforce the fact that we should see more like weird combinations of stuff all in there. And because they are pulling it out, I would have, under normal circumstances, actually liked to see them win here. But because of their name, and unless they say sorry, then guess what? I want them to lose this game. There's not a doubt in my mind that should happen.
To make it super hypey, I will have two of my League of Legends figurines.
Okay.
Echo will be Staff Sucks, and also the chat, if anybody's like talking in the chat, they can vote too. So Staff Sucks is Echo, and Braum is Stephen Hawking's Dance Club.
I know Matt is in here. Start the prediction.
So that's and I wrote down, okay, just confirming on my card of predictions. Game 1, DBZ and Lucan both have said Stephen Hawking's Dance Club will win. And then overall, DBZ said 3-1 to Staff Sucks, and Lucan said Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. Am I correct?
Yes.
Oh, anyways, so the predictions have been in. We have to go to break, and when we return, we are going to be excited to watch this draft. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back.
Game 1, baby.
Back to the Risen recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a
Wake
bang,
up!
Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up.
But I gotta say, he was smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo Boys playing up against Clarity Black. For the first 20 minutes of the game, it was a bit of fighting in the top lane, but not much happened besides that.
Oh, but the engage coming out from Sejuani, but it's trading back, and Maokai actually regenerated a lot more health than I would expected there.
For Boxer Squirrel, just really those kind of impacts making a huge difference in the gold.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I want to call them Triple B, BBB, or Big Bongo Boys, because they're not all same solos.
Then there was a mega turnaround fight for the Big Bongo Boys after they made a big dragon attempt, but then they got challenged again for the dragon attempt, which Big Bongo Boys won the fight towards.
On this side, and there's a 3v2 on the other side, but I can't punch to it, and I can't cut to it. But Boxer Squirrel in the midst of it all, unable to get too much out, but finds the Q before he's last. Dies, and Chicken Fried Rice to escape with good depth, does not unfortunately have the W enough up to heal him. And they call goes back in the circuit, flip finds one. Can she find two? No, she gets shut down, and the exchange of lives is so insane. Can Maokai find the damage to Treble back? And he does, but unfortunately, it is the ace on the side of CLB that allows them to get this dragon.
Much later in the game, Big Bongo Boys chased Akali down in the bot lane, meaning that Clarity Black had so much freedom to take that first Baron, and from that Baron, they spiraled away from a teamfight and took the victory.
The higher ranked Clarity Black, and honestly, still
find
performing
Akali
extremely well.
Oh, and she can't get out simply, tries to ulti over the wall, but that's crucial. 4 members sent down. This is the freest Baron I've seen, and it's incredibly hard to siege anything. As we're talking about that, the dragon does in fact spawn.
This will be a very important fight. Dragon Soul on the line. Let's see.
This is so easy, and the onslaught of shadows into all of the members. We talk about Wombo on one side, we talk about Wombo on the other side, but the whole time is not correctly pinned on enough members to make it worth it and to make it so they can make this comeback. And unfortunately, at the end, CLB take the ace, and they look to take the game.
And then as we rolled into game 2, Maokai was picked again.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring
Maokai, the Twisted Treant.
Maokai is a support tank hybrid.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Bold move.
Overall,
Normally Darius is only reserved for those counter picks, and it looks like they're just going to respond with Maokai.
And the team was entirely green, so they kind of had the aesthetic advantage for the Big Bongo Boys. For the first 22 minutes, I kind of got distracted watching the LCS. 100 Thieves did win, to a big surprise of all the casters, and then we moved back into the game, where Baron and Soulpoint were both hit here by CLB.
Towards this dragon, we do have good depth running up from base. Let's see if we can get here in time.
And this dragon is down to 9k HP. They opt to pull it out, so the potential steal is has a lot less potential to happen. The Maokai ulti for the engage. They want to make this happen. The Wombo combo, but the bullet time is just barely out of range, but it's not going to matter in the end. The Deathball comes too strong, but this Twitch is free firing in the backline. Good Death trying to stall time for his 80 carry, but in a 1v4, when you're already routed and they're already on top of you, they make it look easy.
With CLB taking a massive victory in the second game, and this series...
Sloth, if you want to go there. Or Sloth, the other.
Yep.
Are we in? Oh, okay. How is it going? Starting out game one, the banger of the pause screen. I have never seen anything quite like this before. As we get into the game and we are staring at everything being very sepia toned, very, very cinematic. I love the filter. I'm taking a selfie. I would like to say that this is game one of the quarterfinals for the Draft League, and here we are in game, sort of. How's it going, DBZ?
Sort of. I mean, I kind of have an idea of what's about to happen. I mean, by
I know.
the way it looks like Jarvan's gonna head towards bot side and Hecarim's gonna head towards top side, maybe drop a ward and then come back. So, not sure what's going on at the moment. It looks like earlier they said that their mid laner was lagging. Ah, yes. Okay, so the mid was restarting their PC. And right now they're talking about games on PC. So they're talking about spooky games. They're talking about Elden Ring. People still play Elden Ring.
Well, Persona 5 even. Man, they're doing other things besides even playing this game. Honestly, maybe we should cast those instead. See where he's at. Like, see how many times he's able to like die to Tree Sentinel before he actually like gets into the game. That'd be an interesting one.
I
But
do want to cast Valorant though. Speaking of other games to cast, I really want to cast Valorant.
I would like to try, but at the same time, I feel like I would be awful at it. Like, I have like my knowledge on Valorant compared to League is just abysmal. I'd be like, and he's looking to the left and he shot his gun. He's dead.
Easy. That's all you
very,
need.
very. He got him in the head. He got him. He's dead. Nice. All right, he's planting the bomb, which isn't the bomb, it's the spike. I'm sorry. He's using the op. I mean the operator, not the op. Yeah, it would not be nearly as entertaining, assuming that I am normally entertaining, of course.
Do you know what you gamers can do in the meantime while we're waiting for this pause to done? You could take a quick step, get some nice refreshing G Fuel. Never mind the
we're in game!
All right.
All right, it looks like they're finally leaving bases. They had some time to think about what they're doing. They had their time out. They are pulled out of the corner, and here they are onto the rift, putting down wards, and it looks like they're going to be doing a basic 5-point as we are frozen because it is catching up to where the pause was. Fantastic. I don't know if anybody else is locked on that, but I currently am.
Yeah, I am too.
That is one of the greatest things about the League of Legends client is that it is so consistent in how bad it is. But here we are talking about consistent, back to consistent flowing time in game. 5 points done by everyone, and it looks like there's only been one ward that's really been placed down right now. Nothing really too exciting coming from these starts. No invades. They don't want to start things out spicy. They're just playing safe. Oh boy, how exciting. But
I mean,
that being
neither
said,
team is really an invade comp, to be fair. I mean, I guess maybe you have...
You've got Jarvan, who's got his flag that can give attack speed to the whole team.
I guess. I mean, we take those. So, homeboy is going to go ahead and start in the top side, it looks like. Yep, aiming towards the top side. So he's definitely going to clear his top side, come down bot, and ooh, so is the Hecarim. Oh boy, both these junglers are going to meet in the bot lane in about 3.5 minutes, and that's going to be kind of hype. Hecarim should clear this faster, though, than Jarvan, so... Because Jarvan's not really going to do any of the multi-monster camps. Hecarim is going to do all of them. And I guess that's what Fiddle Mid does. He just sucks, hits minions, and sucks some more.
Yeah, he kind of like sucks and leaves. But I mean, like, that's what just happens. I will say you were making comments on the jungle presence this game and how the clear was going to be faster, but we did actually see that Hecarim cleared a little bit later, while Jarvan was able to do that a little bit faster on the blue buff, and he's going straight over to the Gromp. I'm curious to know, too, if Jarvan's going to go for a cheeky early gank and try to pop somebody down a little bit earlier, but there's a fight in the bot lane. Now, we've got a few rockets thrown down, but you know what? Directed Cam doesn't care. Doesn't care that he's doing damage, as he's going to be thrown back over the top lane, back over to the mid lane, and here we are doing absolutely nothing while he's pushing here. Do you have any comments before maybe something actually does happen?
So I was actually wrong in where the Jarvan was gonna. Ooh, that was lucky that the zap missed. But I was wrong so far. The Jarvan is getting the inside track going towards the bot side of the jungle. Hecarim went to the Krugs first, so he's gonna do a full clear, which means Jarvan will most likely get the inside track on this Scuttle when it spawns in the next 40 seconds. And meanwhile, we have some trading on the top side. Not too much there. So it looks like Hubris this time brought Flash, because last time he brought I think it was Ghost and Ignite last time, if I remember correctly. It might have been a Ghost Teleport. Either way, he was running people down, and it was disgusting. Yumi's gonna go ahead, get a little bit of poke off, and there's that Vigar annoyance that's expected to come in.
It looks like we might see a gank coming in here pretty soon, too. Maybe at the 330 mark, coming from this Jarvan, and I'm hoping that we can see something, because there is a lot of damage being thrown down here over as the Yumi's pulled in, but it looks like Jinx is gonna get the first blood, throwing down as she is excited. She's throwing down the... Oh, got away, but did cost the Flash and the life of the Renata, grabbing that towards there, while we are looking at a low health Olaf, which does mean that he is technically stronger in another way, fighting over on this Sejuani here. The brittle, I can't remember what it's called, but the Sejuani passive for the extra resistances has been broken. That being said, there might be a potential to possibly go in there and grab something. Once you hit that level 4 mark, you do deal a lot of damage. So if we do see some of that happening, it doesn't look like maybe anything quite yet. No, I got a feeling we're gonna see directed Cam just say no. That was there's nothing here. Maybe.
No, so far we've some action in mid lane. Oh, the fear!
I was kind of confident on making the assumption that Hecarim's not gonna be the greatest to gank the Fiddlesticks.
No, he can just fear him away. But the good news is Hecarim will get the double scuttle here, so that puts him ahead. But Jarvan is coming here in the bot lane. They don't have flash on the Aphelios, so he will just die here.
Oh boy, he is not backing up fast enough here as he goes for the flag and drag, knocks him up, and Aphelios, he may have survived last time, but there is no flash on that 80 carry this time, throwing down even more damage, excited and looking back over to the top lane, because that's not exciting enough, as we see that we do see the pop-off on the Olaf. If that stun did not go through, I do believe we would have been seeing a kill. There is still potential for a dive here, as the Hecarim comes around the corner, throws it down, taking this damage for that, and Olaf gets another kill, and throwing down as sort of what we can see from that damage now. If Olaf is going to be getting ahead, that lane could likely turn into a very quick snowball as we go into a pause. Man, there's a lot of stuff happening, and then I'm getting a breather, I guess, so you get to talk now, and you get to say about all the consequences that are going to happen from that.
Yep, so we have a kill lead in the bot lane at the moment. Naturally happening. That was an instant unpause. Okay, I guess I don't get to say too much, but I will continue on as you know, teleports are starting to be burned. And right now, we see that the Olaf is ahead, which is, I said, would probably be the consequence of this game if he ends up getting too far ahead. Now, what does he get? The Iron Spike Whip. So he's going for the Gore Drinker, meaning that he's going to heal a lot, especially because he's going to be running into teams, and the game has slightly paused as the spectator delay catches up. Is this the part where I'm gonna flame riot a little bit as we're getting these continued pauses. Fix your spectator. Fix it. It was working fine 2 years ago, and for some reason y'all broke
I'll bring it a step further. Why is it that Overwatch 2 gets a 2 game, which is not like any different outside of like some slightly updated like engine things that really did nothing and the worse loot box system, but League can't get a League 2, which is basically the same thing with just at least a better engine.
Or
come
League
on,
of Legends Classic.
Riot, get on top of it.
League of Legends Classic, pick a good patch, probably like from season 4 or 5, and the most perfect patch from the game, which, funny enough, no memes aside, the best patch in the game that was also the most balanced was patch 420. I don't know why.
I don't know about that one. I remember Warwick on that patch. That was not balanced.
If you banned him, the rest of the game was balanced. It was easy peasy.
It is kind of funny that you do mention, because yeah, it literally was just the Warwick at that point in time. Yeah. Warwick could just go around with his with his, what was Wriggles, I think, at the time, right?
I think so, yeah. We're getting those kind of back next year.
Feral Flare. Nice. I think it was Feral Flare, because Wriggles
Feral Flare,
was yeah.
We're actually getting those kind of next year. Little pets in the jungle.
I haven't looked at the patch notes yet. I haven't seen what's going to happen next season. I did see that like they're changing tank items, and that's pretty much it. But like outside of that, I haven't seen what's been going on. I did hear on the PvE. By the way, don't go on the PvE, because apparently if you buy an item on the PvE, your PvE account's permanently banned. I hope that's been fixed, but yeah, just PSA to anyone who's watching right now. Watching at home, which I would assume most people would watch this at home.
Oh, Jarvan's over the wall.
Jarvan go in! Oh man, a lot of damage going on. Another excitement. Yeah, no, but you do have a collapse over from the Hecarim. Doesn't care though because Fiddlesticks is getting a kill mid lane. As we do see Olaf almost close out a kill there. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff happening, and I didn't see much of it because the directed camera said, I don't care about what's going on in that tri-rush over by the red side. You know what really matters? Olaf almost getting a kill, which it looks like he might actually still get. There is potential here to go onto a dive and do some damage because you have a lot that you can kind of throw on there. But there is the flash currently, but you know what? He says, I don't care for doing that right now. Currently, that's not my prerogative. I'm going to attack the tower, while apparently the Jinx is just going to destroy the Aphelios because you're not getting the kill back on there. There's no more revive for you. And although the Hecarim is coming in to close out the damage on the Yuumi and the Jinx, it looks like Jarvan is coming by to say, nope, that's my cat. You do not get to put him in the litter box. That's my job.
Wow, okay, so we're gonna backtrack a little bit at the start of that fight.
There's a lot that just happened.
Before then. So, for what happened when the Renata died, was she got caught on the traps that Jinx threw over the wall. I think it was warded. Oh, there's a pink ward. There's a pink ward in that little bush up there. So they saw them walk through. Jinx throws the traps. Jarvan goes over. She flashes over. They get the kill, blah, blah, blah. They don't get a trade. Immediately, like, Jinx was like 1 HP, I think. But they don't kill her. They don't kill her because of the blast plan. They get out. Top lane, as we saw, Olaf was doing his classic Olaf. Propped R, ran them down. Good lord, this fiddle is healing a lot. You better buy some heal cut, son.
I do remember, like, I've gone against Fiddlesticks mid once in my life, and the reason why I hated was because I'm a Xerath main by trade, and that champion just tanked every single Q, and then just sucked off the entire wave, and then said, I don't care how much damage you deal, I will take all of that health back from your minion wave. And I was sad, and I cried, and I went to sleep that night, and I had horrible nightmares of this Scarecrow, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's a very uncomfortable topic for me.
But now you have to talk about it this whole game because we have it in our game.
I know this game is a nightmare coming true right now. I'm telling you. But yeah, it's true. Like when we look at what happened just out of that whole circumstance, ignoring everything about the Fiddlesticks because I don't want to keep on that topic. I will say that there has been a little bit of a shift in power from all of this now. If we do kind of look at the way that gold has been separated here, we do have a lot coming down over onto the Jinx, which is going to be very scary in team fights for the team that was initially going to be kind of behind in their team composition for what they'd be able to deal with. Jinx can kind of run away with it if they're able to get an early pick and she gets excited. Which is kind of the scarier part. But on the flip side of that, with the shutdown gold going to Hecarim, as well as Olaf kind of being ahead right now, we're likely to see that Jinx can just die before that even happens. Oh boy! Speaking of which, we got Fiddlesticks coming in. I didn't want to acknowledge the Nightmare, but the Nightmare is here. The Nightmare is just coming back over, throwing over the crows, and just destroying the Aphelios, and there goes another kill over to the Jinx. It doesn't matter if you're going to be getting dove in the next team fights if the team fights aren't going to happen, and you're just going to be killing the people in the team that you need to care about before the team fight even starts. They start up the dragon from that, and man, that was... I go on a tangent, and they decide to just run away on their own tangent and just repeat kill the bot lane.
Well, the only plus side, oh my god, they're 0-6 together, that so feels bad. But the only plus side of that whole play ended up happening was Hecarim got the Rift Herald. Nice!
Yes, yeah.
But you have to get something on the map because your bot lane is falling apart, and that keeps Aphelios further and further away from that late game scary point. And just this fiddle pick, I thought it was troll, but like Staff Sucks was like, nah, this is the biggest brain pick you're about to see in your life, and so far they are correct by doing that.
It is very much like going to be affecting this early mid game portion, like especially the post 6 level kind of coming out. We didn't really acknowledge it initially that there is potential after that, and I mean there will be another spike once he hits level 11 for that level 2 on the Crowstorm. Like there is a lot of damage that can happen both in fights as well as picks onto those rotations. But we are seeing something happen over to the bot side as they kind of decide to compensate for the loss that has happened from the Aphelios prior to. We have Hecarim waiting in a brush as well as Jarvan if we're going to be looking at something that might happen soon.
I think they're going to try to wait and see where the Yuumi is before dropping the Herald here.
More people here though, that is for sure. Here it is.
Here we go.
Popping in as the ult comes up. Flash is pulled down as we do have Aphelios pulling the cleanse, and we do have the Renata ult used a little bit early. That being said, Aphelios ult misses as Crowstorm comes in, and dear God, that is a lot of damage coming in from the Fiddlesticks. Fiddle, after that last kill, we didn't really recognize it and didn't really make a mark of it, but he he's got Leandres already before 12 minutes. And that is a huge spike for if you are going to just be running between lanes and throwing down the hammer or the crows. Throwing down the crows? Hammer crows, I guess. Olaf is throwing down the axe right now, I'll give you that much, as he does decide to chunk out the Sedge, doing damage after damage and clearing these waves, keeping up the pressure. If there was any sort of hope that was going to be had over on the side of Stephen Hawking's Dance Club, it is going to be in that Olaf, able to run down the Fed members of the team and ignore the Crow Storm and all of the CC that can be thrown at him. I do think that is your only saving grace right now, though, as he does almost seem to run down the Sejuani, but the exhaust is pulled up and it looks like he's gonna go down. Unfortunately, there's also the Fiddlesticks who's going to be catching him out, silencing and fearing and throwing him back, as I don't know if he's gonna have enough to get out of here. It looks like the Sedge does miss her slow, and I can't remember the abilities, and man, I'm a horrible play-by-play caster. As we've seen, and we do get to see the Hecarim get away from there, but the consequences earlier on in this match that were had from the bot side losing are starting to show, and are going to at least equalize, I would say, for the next little while, unless you can stabilize on the side of Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. Please tell me that we're not seeing this happen. Why is the Sejuani going so far forward, as she is taken out by the Hecarim, giving a little bit more hope over to the side of Stephen Hawking's Dance Club, until the Jinx decides to rocket it down mid lane, and we do see another kill coming down from there. We've got a creeping shutdowns on both the side of over on both sides of the mid lane and the bot lane, coming from the Jinx and from... Oh man, I don't get a chance to stop, do I? Man, there's a lot of stuff happening here, as Aphelios is gonna just maybe solo. Never mind. Nothing important happening there, as it seems like Yumi's got a kill over on the Renata in the mid lane, and we do have Fiddlesticks soloing out after a little bit of a fight and a scuffle with the Jarvan who got popped down there. Everybody's dying. There's not enough people not dying. There's so much stuff happening, as Hecarim almost dies to just getting caught out from a Yumi. I'm gonna need a breath of water, man. You're the one that had the G Fuel, man. I should have had it.
I this whole time I'm waiting for like things to calm down a little bit. Like, oh, I got this. I'll interject here. I'll interject there. But this Staff Sucks just does not stop fighting. But I mean, it makes sense. You have your leads in the bot lane and the mid lane. They know they have to accelerate those leads, and that's exactly what they're doing. We have a 5-1 Jinx, a 6-0 Fiddlesticks. I didn't think I'd ever be saying that in my life. Yumi is even 2-0 with 8 assists. She has a 10 KP right now, and Olaf is gonna try to run her down. But,
and like, he looks like he's throwing down the axe again here. Is he going to be able to get it? I do think he does here, as there's not much to stop him, as he did pop that ultimate in order to kind of go through. Now, once again, he's the only living hope, I do believe, for the side of Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. Now, if he can start taking away some of these camps and start pressure elsewhere, I don't think that you contest this dragon. I do think that it'd be a bit of a mistake to do so while your main damage source is going to be on the top side. I think you start to look at throwing down the vision in the areas where you can and prepping for that Baron, or even possibly starting it up. But I do think that also would be a mistake, because you're not even at a full item yet on the Aphelios. With, dear God, they are coming in and destroying them just for showing up in the mid lane. You cannot walk up that far, apparently, and disrespect the engage range that happens from them. And that is really the biggest portion, is that all of your wards are down over in the bot side of your own jungle right now. And that does mean that that area is safe. What that also means, though, is that all your wards are down there and nowhere else is safe. And that is kind of what was shown there, as they overstepped their boundaries, and they got punished for it real bad.
Yeah, Jinx should finish this Phantom Dancer by the time she clears this wave. I toggled over the gold. She's at 930 something. I believe she has the gold for it right now. If not, she will in a little bit. So Jinx is going to be very, very strong here, coming up on 16 minutes. And it's just for Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. It's like, the Fiddlesticks pick did kind of come out of nowhere. I don't think you kind of anticipate something like that happening. And here you have Hecarim fighting, and I don't think Sejuani really... Okay, she's out.
I'm not too sure. I was going to say, I don't think on this kind of exchange we're going to see something, but we might start to see something of a bigger fight here, as they do start pulling in, and they see that this Herald is trying to be taken. Now, there is a little bit of a chance here for something to happen if they can have a bit of a segmented fight, but Jinx has arrived, and you need to respect that damage, as it looks like the Olaf is kind of... But on the backside of the fight, Aphelios is getting damaged out, and it looks like the Viger maybe lives? I don't know. He burns it out, as they do end up getting that over on the side of Stephen Hawking's Dance Party. That is such a long name to say so many times over again. As Renata gets picked up over by the Flag and Drag, she throws down the shield on herself, but is not able to live, as we do get a pullback over onto the Fiddlesticks, getting a little bit more damage, as the Hecarim does end up being a little strong right now. There is this turret over on the other side, but it looks like Jinx is going to be popping off. Oh man, she is really excited now as the entire team gets wiped down, and was it worth it? Definitely not. You ended up having a Herald for your entire team. I don't know about the trade value that you're really getting off of there. I do think though that it is kind of a dire situation when you are kind of put into the shoes of Stephen Hawking's Dance Party.
I honestly think this game is a wrap. I mean, just Jinx and Fiddlesticks are way too far ahead. Your bot lane is 0-14 together, and like it would take a miracle for them to come back into this game. Aphelios, I think, just now finished his item. Yeah, 1707. He just finished his Gale Force, so he finally got that mythic.
Now you have said that it would take a miracle in order for them to get back. And while they are 0-14 in the bot lane, that is currently 2 7s. Now, 7 is a lucky number. And if I know that there's 2 7s, that means that all they need to do is roll one more 7, and Veigar needs to die another 4 times, and then they've got 3 7s, which is they win the lottery. And if they win the lottery, guess what? That's really what they need to do in order to win this game. So, therefore, I think there's still a chance. We just need to see the 007 power spike. Prove me wrong.
Well, I mean, we could take that one step further because they do have the 2 7s. But if you take Veigar's death plus Hecarim's plus Olaf's, that's 7 right there.
Oh, wow. They're already there. This is the turnaround based off of, I've run the numbers. All of the numbers line up and they add up together. And it does say that they've got all the numbers that they need in order to come back. Realistically speaking, the only way that they will be able to bring it back is through very clever map play, as well as hitting that kind of all-together team fight while Jinx isn't there. Now, is that going to happen? Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. That being said, we do have Sejuani kind of being run down here, but guess who has shown up? As we do see a lot of damage that is put over, but they're still applying it over on the Sejuani. But he has the shutdown onto the Jinx, as Olaf is still good there, as Veigar gets another shutdown, and we were not kidding when we said that they had all the tools and they had won the lottery. But here comes the Fiddlesticks. Crowstorm pops in and does a massive amount of damage. Now, is it enough to kill the Aphelios? It is not. We've got Jarvan, who's got the ability to run back in here, as Renata's on the other side. If she can get the handshake and pull him back, there might be a possibility, but it is quickly thrown back away at them. I do think they might have been able to handle that if they were to fight it a little bit more head on and grab it a little bit more, but for now, they're going to take another 7, as it is 22-7 in after this fight, and they are proving that the numbers don't lie. They've got the luck, they've got everything, they're living a dream, and here we go after that fight. What is the overall look of this whole match? Well, DBZ, why don't you tell me about those gold numbers?
Well, it was looking pretty dire, but Olaf getting that shutdown on the Jinx was pretty massive. That means he can get Tankier to do that exact same thing to her over and over and over and over and over. So with this, it looks like he should be Death's Dance coming up next. Let's find out here when he backs. Okay, so it's the Death's Dance. Perfect. So him getting that Death's Dance is huge. And then Veigar got a shutdown onto the Yuumi, which is, again, big. So does that necessarily mean they'll fight for this next dragon? Well, I mean, they kind of have to, because then it puts Staff Sucks on Soul Point. And you don't want them to be on Soul Point with the Hexel, because Hexel is kind of a pretty powerful soul. And yeah, Sejuani being a nuisance here, trying to take away some camps, but he's going to concede the big raptor. That's interesting.
It definitely is a big soul, especially when you've got the main damage over onto the 80 carry and Jinx already doing that chained damage. You're just adding a lot more pressure to be thrown onto there. More attack speed on her as well, too. Like, it's just going to be a lot. I do think, though, that at the same time, you can't really contest this one, and you're going to have to wait to catch every single other one, because you got a little bit of an inch, and you could try to take a mile, but I do think that you, at the same time, you got to bring all the chips in. Like I said, you won the lottery, you take all that in, you're like, okay, what am I going to invest into this next kind of portion here of what we can actually do? That being said, they do lose the Herald. Now, that happening is a little bit sad, but we can still regroup and see something happen here next. As the dragon does go over, what are your thoughts on what's going to be happening in this next fight?
Well, naturally, we're gonna get a fight either around the Baron or the next dragon, because like it's like you had said. So with them being on Soul Point, I think Renata just walks away here. That's a lot of damage. I'm kind of just waiting for him to get the. I'm waiting for him to get the demonic embrace for that extra bit of burn, and that's gonna be just kind of stupid.
That being said, we still haven't seen Imperial Mandate even show up yet on Renata too. So there's a lot of damage that will be happen once that last mythic is brought over. So that is another thing to consider.
Olaf should get this tower in the meantime, and then kind of just like,
There's
open
no
up
reason
the
for
map
him to
a
not
little
to, and
bit.
then to just decide to fight the Sejuani if she wants to stay here. The bounty.
I mean, she can't beat him. He has Death Dance, but Baron is
No,
only being started on the other side of the map, so we have that going on.
We
And
could
do they
see a
know?
steal
They
here.
don't
It
know.
would be.
The ward didn't go over the wall.
Oh
Okay, now they know.
boy, there we go.
Olaf has the TP now.
As he
Olaf
sees
has
it.
the TP now.
The ult over and the steal. Oh boy, here we go. As the fight starts again, but it doesn't look like it's gonna go any further than that. It looks like the Fiddlesticks clone decided to flash. Well, he also flashed over the wall and ulted. Does the Renata get away as well too? It does not seem to be the case, but that is a huge amount of power shift over there. As we do see Olaf in the bot lane fighting down the Sejuani here with this Baron. You could start to see a little bit of a power push down over into the bot lane, over from that Baron power push. Now, that being said, we still do have a lot of damage coming in over to be dealt from the Yuumi and the follow-up from the Fiddlesticks, and they are going to likely get another tower here if they do not bring back the Olaf. That happening is a little disappointing as you do lose the power push there, because I don't think that coming back here right now is really going to do much for you. I think you would have been better off just pushing from there, but maybe the power was needed, maybe the call was needed that they brought back, and now they can kind of push back and maybe grab a little bit more vision and start to clear out those waves. Maybe put the Aphelios into the top lane, and we'll see some sort of comeback, but we looks like we have another fight here as the Hecarim is just getting destroyed, and the rest of them on the back line as everybody dies, and they bite off more than they can chew, and that's the whole team outside of the Vygar. What are you going to do now? It might even be the game. They don't have a wave is the only thing that you can really say, but that being said, if Jinx has enough damage to just kind of do it while we have the tankiness of the Sejuani here, it is kind of scary. They are going to be up in 15 seconds, and they've got to take down a lot against a Vygar who still does have Cage available. Now, are they going to be able to grab it? That is the question. As they're already starting over, they have missed the Sedge ult, and Sedge is taking a load of damage. There's a lot being thrown in there as the Jinx almost dies. Now, they grabbed the one tower, but at what cost? As we do know that the Dragon is going to be up for another 1 minute 50, and giving over that kind of power over to the Vygar could be a little scary at this point in time.
Yeah, that was, okay. So, we finally got a little bit of a calm down. So, crucial that Hecarim steals the Baron there. The game is pretty much over a couple minutes ago if they get that Baron. They wiped it. Let's say the same thing happens. They get the Baron, they wipe them there, that's just the game. But Hecarim steals the Baron, which gives them much needed gold to everybody, which I say actually helped a lot in terms of like items. And as Vygar finished the Zonias, and you got a couple of the second in from the Hecarim. Sorry, now the flip side is that they end up pretty much getting wiped minus the Vygar due to a really disgusting Fiddle Jarvan ultimate. We talked about it in draft. That combo of the two of them was gonna be just straight disgusting, and that's exactly what happened. Woo-wee, and it's just they're still 5,000 gold up, but it's like SHDC has a chance. That's kind of what's kind of like showing right now. Is they have a chance to be able to words. God, I just can't think because
to just bring it back together, and it really does come down to that. They are going to have to find a way to just bring everyone together, put all those proper pieces in the right place, and then execute. Because while they've got all the Zords in place to make the Megazord, for some reason, the leg's on its head, the head's over on the right arm, the right arm is like in the right place, actually. You know, it's not that bad. But then everything else is just all over the place. And they are waiting in a brush here to just try to catch them out, because they know that they can just play around with the vision. And that does mean that if they are able to get a collapse, at least onto the Hecarim, it could be all over. And it looks like it might be happening here, but they are getting a lot of damage back over, and the Vygar cage is popping up. They need to be able to creep up this vision and stop this dragon. You've got Olaf over on the side here, looking to try to make an angle onto somebody, and Hecarim comes in, but he's unable to get anything what he needs off. And we've got so much damage coming out of the Crow Storm, and then you've got the Jarvan locking in the Olaf, which does mean that is pretty much, I'm gonna have to call it there and say that's likely gonna be the game. I don't know if Vygar can. No, the Vygar definitely does not either. The Quadra kill comes through for the Jinx, and we see that Flevo Luxon,
Yes.
I threw a French spin on it. He is definitely showing that he is a menace in this game.
Absolutely. It was from that first kill in the bot lane. It pretty much showed that the Jinx was gonna be stupid ahead. She has her 3 items. She's dealing so much damage. Almost gets a pentakill, but Sejuani jacked it from her. So that's reportable offense, IMO. But this will be the end of the game. Staff sucks, unless. Oh, they baited us. Okay.
All right.
Okay,
well, you
okay,
know
okay.
what? They had to make me wrong. You know what? Only another reason for me not to enjoy the fact that they're winning this game. Not only just their name. They're making it look like we're bad here by pulling it back and resetting and grabbing everything there. I mean, you can't
Stealing the whole
completely
jungle.
blame the Jinx. The Jinx is sitting on about like 2,500 gold right now, and I think the Yumi is sitting on like close to something similar to that. So there's at least that going on.
That should be Bloodthirster for Jinx. Yep, there it is, Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a disgusting build that is currently happening there, and I mean, like, she's only just going to be surviving more and more as these fights kind of go on. I do think that the gap has been closed a little over the past couple of fights for sure, but the areas in which they need to be closer are definitely not getting there in time. I think if we see this last maybe another like 5-7 minutes, there might be a little bit more of a chance, but that soul in the next fight, if they decide to have a full-blown fight, you gotta kill the Jinx before the fight starts or it's over. And even if you do that, your backlines have been getting dove by the fiddlesticks. I guess they are, and I mean, like, it's not exactly the worst option to go around here. You do see pretty much everyone popping over, and it looks like they might honestly grab it here pretty
They're gonna
soon.
get it, but do they lose
Yeah.
their base in the meantime?
I think that it's the right call. I'll throw it out there. I don't think that you're able to really do much else from that point, but you are going to lose the Vigar for it beforehand. They all got to get back right now as this last inhib kind of goes down out of all of them here. They are
actually
able to
lucked
hold
out.
the waves a little bit longer, but I mean, like, it's a last resort kind of play, and I respect them for making it because they know that there's a lot of damages happening. But dear God, speaking of
my
damage
God.
happening, it might not matter in the end as we see Jinx is popping off in these fights. Throwdown after throwdown of those rockets, and it's just going to be thrown down over at the Nexus as we start to see that no matter how much you're going to throw at them, and even if you throw the kitchen sink at the Olaf this time, and the kitchen, well, that time it was the house. Gnar was here, and it's over. That's the game.
Yeah, that's
Man.
out there. Game 1, Staff Sucks takes game 1 very, very convincingly, 38-9. I'm waiting for the damage solo just to see how much damage Fiddle and Jinx did. And it didn't even matter. Jinx did 35,000 damage. She was dealing so much damage. God, it started with that little bit of a mistake happening in the bot lane. So, like, yeah, what is going on over there? Look, what are you doing?
I
you
dropped my light and my camera turned up.
Well,
Don't worry about it. You don't worry about this either. That's my other camera.
I was like, what are you? Is that like you just broke because of the game, or you actually dropped your light? Okay, that makes sense. Anyways, congratulations to the first game to SS, which is Echo, which I had Echo. And yeah, and well, and then also you both didn't predict right in the first game.
I
That's
predicted
okay.
I predicted what was right in my heart. I'll have
But
you know.
but you know what? Aside from like the name, SS has continually demonstrated that they've been very strong throughout the whole season. So I know that, Stephen, I'm just gonna call them Stephen Hawking because it's a really long name, but Stephen Hawking, they were very strong too, and I think I have seen a couple of their games, but seeing how SS has been doing, it's kind of I think it's a really good match. So that's what I have to say. What are your thoughts?
It definitely was entertaining. It was also causing me to break out into a sweat, as I needed to pull out my freestyle rap skills midway through there and just talk over literally everything. I don't think DBZ got in like more than 5 words that entire cast, honestly.
They
Like,
just kept fighting.
It was a bloodbath that definitely happened there. And I mean, like, I'm sure we can talk all about it afterwards, but I mean, like, I'll speak for myself at the very least. I need a break.
Of course.
I
of
gotta
course.
like drench myself in water, clean off all this sweat. Man, why am I wearing a sweater?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I guess we can take it to break here so we can allow both of you to reset and then get right back into it. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in, and we'll be back.
Back to the Risen recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a
Wake
bang,
up!
Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up. Come
But
on,
I
come
gotta
on.
say, he was smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo Boys playing up against Clarity Black. For the first 20 minutes of the game, it was a bit of fighting in the top lane, but not much happened besides that.
Oh, but the engage coming out from Sejuani, but it's trading back, and Maokai actually regenerated a lot more health than I would expected there.
For Boxer Squirrel, just really those kind of impacts making a huge difference in the gold.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I want to call them Triple B, BBB, or Big Bongo Boys, because they're not all same solos.
Big
Then there was a mega turnaround fight for the Big Bongo Boys after they made a big dragon attempt, but then they got challenged again for the dragon attempt, which Big Bongo Boys won the fight towards.
On this side, and there's a 3v2 on the other side, but I can't punch to it, and I can't cut to it. But Boxer Squirrel in the midst of it all, unable to get too much out, but finds the Q before his last dies, and Chicken Fried Rice to escape with good depth does not unfortunately have the W enough up to heal up. And they call comes back in the circuit, but finds one. Can she find two? No, she gets shut down, and the exchange of lives is so insane. Can Maokai find the damage to Treble back? And he does, but unfortunately, it is the ace on the side of CLB that allows them to get this dragon.
Much later in the game, Big Bongo Boys chased Akali down in the bot lane, meaning that Clarity Black had so much freedom to take that first Baron, and from that Baron, they spiraled away from a teamfight and took the victory.
The higher ranked Clarity Black, and honestly, still
find
performing
Akali.
extremely well.
Oh, and she can't get out simply, tries to ulti over the wall, but that's crucial. 4 members sent down. This is the freest Baron I've seen, and it's incredibly hard to siege anything. As we're talking about that, the dragon does in fact fall.
This will be a very important fight. Dragon Soul on the line. Let's see.
This is so easy, and the onslaught of shadows into all of the members. We talk about Wombo on one side, we talk about Wombo on the other side, but the whole time is not correctly pinned on enough members to make it worth it and to make it so they can make this comeback. And unfortunately, at the end, CLB take the ace, and they look to take the game.
And then as we rolled into game 2, Maokai was picked again.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring
Maokai, the Twisted Treant.
Maokai is a support tank hybrid.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Bold move.
Overall,
Normally Darius is only reserved for those counter picks, and it looks like they're just going to respond with Maokai.
And the team was entirely green, so they kind of had the aesthetic advantage for the Big Bongo Boys. For the first 22 minutes, I kind of got distracted watching the LCS. 100 Thieves did win, to a big surprise of all the casters, and then we moved back into the game, where Baron and Soulpoint were both hit here by CLB.
Towards this dragon, we do have good depth running up from base. Let's see if we can get here in time.
And this dragon is down to 9k HP. They opt to pull it out, so the potential steal is has a lot less potential to happen. The Maokai ulti for the engage. They want to make this happen. The Wombo combo, but the bullet time is just barely out of range, but it's not going to matter in the end. The Deathball comes through strong, but this Twitch is free firing in the backline. Good Death trying to stall time for his 80 carry, but in a 1v4, when you're already routed and they're already on top of you, they make it look easy.
With CLB taking a massive victory in the second game and this series. It seemed like the casters had gone to Hogwarts, because every single time they were casting and made predictions, they just put a caster curse down on poor Big
As
Bongo
the
Boys.
The series is taken by Clarity Black.
And that was Risen Unstoppable for the night. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Risen recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a
Wake
bang,
up!
Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up.
But I gotta say, he was smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo Boys playing up against Clarity Black. For the first 20 minutes of the game, it was a bit of fighting in the top lane, but not much happened besides that.
Oh, but the engage coming out from Sejuani, but it's trading back, and Maokai actually regenerated a lot more health than I would expected there.
For Boxer Squirrel, just really those kind of impacts making a huge difference in the gold.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I want to call them Triple B, BBB, or Big Bongo Boys, because Actually, no, they're not all same solo.
Big
Then there was a mega turnaround fight for the Big Bongo Boys after they made a big dragon attempt, but then they got challenged again for the dragon attempt, which Big Bongo Boys won the fight towards.
On this side, and there's a 3v2 on the other side, but I can't punch to it, and I can't cut to it. But Boxer Scroll in the midst of it all, unable to get too much out, but finds the Q before he's last, dies, and Chicken Fried Rice to escape with good depth, does not unfortunately have the W enough up to heal him. And then Kong comes back in the circuit, flip finds one. Can she find two? No, she gets shut down, and the exchange of lives is so insane. Can Maokai find the damage retrieval back? And he does, but unfortunately, it is the ace on the side of CLB that allows them to get this dragon.
Much later in the game, Big Bongo Boys chased Akali down in the bot lane, meaning that Clarity Black had so much freedom to take that first Baron, and from that Baron, they spiraled away from a teamfight and took the victory.
The higher ranked Clarity Black, and honestly,
They
still
find
performing
Akali.
extremely well.
Oh, and she can't get out simply, tries to ulti over the wall, but that's crucial. 4 members sent down. This is the freest Baron I've seen, and it's incredibly hard to siege anything. As we're talking about that, the dragon does in fact spawn.
This will be a very important fight. Dragon Soul on the line. Let's see.
This is so easy, and the onslaught of shadows into all of the members. We talk about Wombo on one side, we talk about Wombo on the other side, but the whole time is not correctly pinned on enough members to make it worth it and to make it so they can make this comeback. And unfortunately, at the end, CLB take the
don't.
ace, and they look to take the game.
And then as we rolled into game 2, Maokai was picked again.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring
Maokai, the Twisted Treant.
Maokai is a support tank hybrid.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Bold move.
Overall,
Normally Darius is only reserved for those counter picks, and it looks like they're just going to respond with Maokai.
And the team was entirely green, so they kind of had the aesthetic advantage for the Big Bongo Boys. For the first 22 minutes, I kind of got distracted watching the LCS. 100 Thieves did win, to a big surprise of all the casters, and then we moved back into the game, where Baron and Soulpoint were both hit here by CLB.
Towards this dragon, we do have good depth running up from base. Let's see if we can get here in time.
And this dragon is down to 9k HP. They opt to pull it out, so the potential steal is has a lot less potential to happen. The Maokai ulti for the engage. They want to make this happen. The Wombo combo, but the bullet time is just barely out of range, but it's not going to matter in the end. The Deathball comes too strong, but this Twitch is free firing in the backline. Field Death trying to stall time for his 80 carry, but in a 1v4, when you're already routed and they're already on top of you, they make it look easy.
With CLB taking a massive victory in the second game and this series. It seemed like the casters had gone to Hogwarts, because every single time they were casting and made predictions, they just put a caster curse down on poor Big Bongo Boys.
The series is taken by Clarity Black.
And that was Risen Unstoppable for the night. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Risen Recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a
Wake
bang,
up.
Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up. Come
But
on,
I
come
gotta
on.
say, he was
Go.
smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo Boys playing up against Clarity Black. For the first 20 minutes of the game, it was a bit of fighting in the top lane, but not much happened besides that.
Oh, but the engage coming out from Sejuani, but it's trading back, and Maokai actually regenerated a lot more health than I would expected there.
For Boxer Squirrel.
Welcome. Wait, am I unmuted? Welcome back, everybody. How are you?
Welcome to Risen Scuffed Esports, where the staff sucks. Like,
If we suck, SS wins. That's not what's supposed to be.
Oh,
I'm just saying what they're thinking and getting everyone mad here, which includes me.
well, you know what? There is one happy person. I did ask our producer who he would have voted on for the teams, and he voted on Staff Sucks. I don't know if you can see SS. So
okay.
he's happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Traitor.
So we gotta make our producer happy. Like, you gotta meet halfway here.
Well, real quick
Or I
before
can
we we get too much into it. So game one obviously was a complete stomp from SS. Top lane into the Olaf. That actually it was pretty heavily setted with the Olaf for a while until the team fight started. Jarvan was outpacing the Hecarim for a little bit, and he was in the right place at the right time, abusing the fact when Aphelios didn't have flash. Going to the bot lane now, Jinx just got super far ahead the moment she got that first kill, blew
Yeah.
the flash in the Aphelios, then they
Jinx.
give the kill over again for gonna add another assist, and it just got out of control just from the start.
It was almost like after that first kill, like Jinx is excited is only supposed to last like what, like 50, like 10 seconds. I don't even know how long.
Something like that.
It's not that long, right? But it lasts for like a short period of time afterwards. But like, I mean, the player didn't get the memo, and he just kept being excited and just kept kind of snowballing with it and kept killing and killing and killing, and it was just happened over and over and over again. Because like at one point, you got to 3 kills before it was finally taken away by the Hecarim and shut down going over onto there. And then from there, like there was maybe a little bit of a contention point for maybe playing on the other side of the map or keeping the shut down. But like you brought him down once, and you know what, he got the memo on that side at least. You fall off or you die to the horse once. What do? You get back up again, and then you kill the horse over and over again as well too. And I mean, like if that's going to keep happening as well too, I do think one of the biggest things that we can look at is going to be the bot lane, I would say, discrepancy. I mean, at one point it was 0-14 versus what? Like it was like a 14-0 because picking up kills across the map from the Jinx. It was crazy. It really was. Crazy as the champ is in the lore, crazy. Like it was going just bonkers.
I will note, I don't know if you both remember, at the beginning of the game, we had mentioned Jinx being a really strong pick and to possibly even getting rid of Jinx. And maybe
I don't
that
think
not
so.
even happening. Well, maybe that was just in my head. I was like, I think they should get rid of Jinx. I don't know if it was mentioned. Maybe it was just mentioned.
I had made the mention that it is definitely a it's definitely a contention point between them towards like where all that damage was going to be coming from. And the Jinx is very much like a hidden OP kind of pick that you can definitely do a lot onto as long as you can kind of get like ramping up in fights. I didn't expect it to ramp up from like, what was it, like 4 minutes onwards?
2 or 3,
yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It was absolutely.
Oh yeah, and then we forgot about the fiddle. Anyways, moving on. So game 2.
Oh, true. Yeah. Fiddlesticks was also a champion that was
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, who cares? So game 2 now. I think they take the fiddle off the table. Jinx, I believe you can handle if you draft correctly into it, because all you need to do is just draft mobility into her, because once she doesn't have that flash, she's pretty susceptible to pretty much anything. So as long as Staff Suckers doesn't draft anything that requires like front to back, then I think you can draft pretty easily into the Jinx. The fiddle, on the other hand, I don't know what you do into that, especially the way it was played. I think you just ban the fiddle, but I think we need to see what happens here in the second game.
Hey, wait, stop. Why would you tell me to ban fiddle and then not even acknowledge how well the fiddle actually turned out?
Yeah, he was all right.
He was decent.
He was all right.
He was a champion. He did some stuff.
Aw, well, I'll acknowledge it. I thought that was a pretty cool pick. I've seen
all
it
jokes aside, the fiddle did definitely do fiddle things and was able to affect a lot of the map from like a roaming presence. Although I would definitely say that it wasn't so much the pick, more of the play style that was able to enable a lot of that in being able to kind of roam after hitting that 6 point and then just kind of being able to like jump into the back line. Now, I don't want to shaft the fiddle pick because I do think that it was like the way that it was played was very impressive.
Yes.
I would say that the thing to take away from that is the way that it was played. And the way that it was played was push waves, hold the line, and then go and leave and grab a pick. Now, you can grab a lot of picks with Fiddle if you can get the right angles, but let's say you turn that into grabbing an Ahri, or you grab any other sort of like mid lane roaming assassin. You are going to get a very, very similar reaction, I guess, from it. And that's kind of what I'm looking at to see from that mid lane more than anything else. Because as much as you can play Veigar in the mid lane, you can try to like scale up and be relevant for the late game and for those team fights. If everything is going to go haywire before the team fights can even be set up in the first place, and you're going to be reacting to the tempo that is being created by these constant pressure plays happening all around the map, you got to do something else somewhere, man. Yeah, that Vygar pick, regardless of whether or not it was being countered by the Fiddlesticks, I think is just you got to have something more proactive.
Yeah, DBZ, what do you think? And we are going to be heading into draft 2, so I don't want to take up too much of that time. I do want to get in maybe a bit of predictions, but what are your thoughts, DBZ? Thanks, Lucan.
Pretty much Lucan said everything. I mean, just draft something that can match the roaming of the Fiddle. Twisted Fate is probably the best example because wherever Fiddle is, TF can be there just like that. Or just, just anything that can like be able to stop him from getting to go from too far. But in terms of like what that's gonna like happen, it's gonna have to wait until we get into draft, which hopefully should be coming up here in the next moment. As I'm also noticing that a certain someone is not in the lobby.
It's telling me the code is invalid. What do you want from me? And then when I tell it that the code's invalid, the bot for the server says, "Good job, you leveled up," and I don't care.
The Poro is not happy that you are not in lobby, Lucan. What is going on?
What do you want me to do?
I demand to know.
Whatever. Draft time. Let's do this.
Somebody link me the draft code.
Here, let me do it for you. Let me put on my grandma glasses as I do this.
Well, in the moment while he's doing that, I'll go ahead and talk about the draft for a hot second. So we have the same bands so far in the Aatrox and the Heimer. Not really too much. No, they did not switch sides. SHCC is still on red side. The Vygar band coming possibly in. Yay, nay. Are they gonna do it? They have about 17 seconds to decide, and they've. Whoa, SS would not ban their own pick, would they? Okay, I was about to say. So they go for the MF ban. Now I think here Stephen Hawking's Dance Club has to ban the Fiddle, or I guess the Yuumi too. The Yuumi also works. Kind of get rid of that intense, nonsensical comp that they have. So we're still focusing on those AD carry bands, it looks like. Nope, Mordekaiser coming in. All right, last band for Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. What do you do here, the Fiddle? Okay, cool. So now we have Staff Sucks coming in with the first pick of game 2. We'll find out in a moment. I know this is all very invigorating, Lucan. I got this. I got this for you. I got this.
I'm watching the stream itself right now.
Fair enough.
I'm like in a delay, and it just keeps freezing for me. Oh man.
It looks like they're gonna go for the Jarvan first here. Okay, they lock in the Jarvan. So Staff Sucks keeping that Jarvan pick. It was very strong in game 1. Will it have the same prowess without the Yuumi? We will definitely find out. And Stephen Hawking Dance Club might steal the Jinx away. That's very interesting to me. Or they might not. I mean, Kai'Sa is open, so I would say, take the Kai'Sa if they can. Do they go for it? Okay, then they lock in the Thresh. Let me go ahead and message someone so that we can get in here. There we go. So then hopefully you can get in here now in just a moment. So Thresh locked in for Stephen Hawking Dance Club. This is very interesting. They're going with a hard engaged support. Also something to keep that Jarvan away from whichever AD carry they decide to pick here. I honestly think you do pick the Kai'Sa because Flevin is really disgusting on it, so I think, okay, they go for the Victor instead. Pretty safe. And Staff Sucks is not going to flip between the two AD carries and settle with whichever one. I mean, either way, both picks are really good. I love me some good old Kai'Sa. And, go ahead and join the thing now, Lucan. You should be able to. Someone's in spec. So go ahead and try joining.
It keeps throwing me into an empty tournament room, and I'm like, what is going on?
Oh, hold on. Let me get the other one. So in the meantime, just yeetily deep that real quick. So there you go. They lock in the Jinx again. So Jinx, that pick got superbly ahead last game, going in with that first kill that happened on the Renata. Hopefully that Stephen Hawking Dance Club learns and does not make that same mistake this time. We'll see what happens, but what would they pick for their support? Are they going to pick another Enchanter, or are they going to pick an Engage? Because they already know the Thresh is there. So the Soraka, okay. So a lot of sustain for that lane. You have the Thresh who's able to pick her off, but that silence on top of him will kind of make that a little difficult for him to get that Engage he wants. And now we go ahead and wait for the last
hey, look
pick.
at that! I got the draft all I can make some comments.
Yeah,
we got here? We're
but,
seeing basically the same thing over from the other side.
Yeah, but not here.
but
Stephen
not
over.
over.
A completely different draft.
Oh yeah. Okay, so taking a look at what we've got here, we've got a lot of the same, minus the Yuumi over on the side of Staff Sucks. Now they're kind of solidifying what they want to do, and we're likely to see something happen in the same kind of regard of that team comp again, because it definitely worked for them. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now over on the side of Stephen Hawking's Dance Club, we do have a shift in what they're trying to do, and on that side, it is they want more wave clear, they want better and larger area of effect team fight damage without so much of the zone control, and they're shifting over the zone control over onto the Varus by having himself have some of that peel and the ability to kind of like throw that off on himself, while we also have the Thresh to be able to pull him back and get him out of those situations. Similar kind of ideas, but I do think that we are seeing better champions based off of the way that they played last time. It also does mean that they should be able to play a little bit safer and maybe get off a little bit more damage off of these fights and have a little bit more CC to work around with. Now, that being said, with the bans that we are seeing, once again, Galio, understandable, Sedge, understandable to take away as well, too, and I would be surprised if we didn't see an Olaf ban, considering that it did show that it was really good in that last fight, but we'll have to wait and see kind of what we actually see throwing back at them. What are they going to prioritize? And there it is. There's the Olaf ban. Totally understandable for them to pick it up and take it away from them. Now, how do we close out, and what do we want to see here? I want to see a jungler. Yeah,
I was gonna say we have a jungle pick that could happen here, or a top lane pick. They would be blinding their top most likely, because the Jarvan is still technically a flex pick and go jungle or top. But I expect maybe to see the jungle here coming in, since they've had some time to think about what they want to go into the Jarvan.
In a weird sort of pickup here, if they can play it, I would like to actually see something a single target. I was going to say Vi. I was literally about to say Vi. I want them to pick something that can click on to the main carry in any sort of fight and actually just remove them from it. And that is literally the perfect and the quintessential pick that you have. The other one that I was going to kind of throw out it would have been the Nocturne, but there's not going to be as much pressure. You're going to lose out a lot to the Jarvan. Vi is the perfect kind of option here in order to kind of throw that back. Now, that being said, Maokai is a very, very much a big dissuasion to what you're actually going to want to do, and when you are going to be backline diving like that, it does mean that you're likely going to, like, even if you're going to be getting the initial burst of damage off, Maokai is going to hop on top of you and say, "Get off my ADC." And that is likely going to be happening pretty often within these fights if we do see it happening kind of standard in that way. That flip side here is, what are we going to see back over in mid? And like I called it out in the first round here, over at the end of that first round here, I want to see something that roams again. I want to see something that does a lot of early game damage. I want to see something that does a lot in terms of wave clear. Tristana would do all of those things, and I would not blame him for picking that up. Now the question is, what are we going to max it out over here? Like, what are we bringing out here that is bringing out the big bucks over in the top lane? I want to see that credit card just swipe, 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 and bring out your biggest, most expensive top laner that you can here. And you know what? If you're talking about swiping and bringing in, scaling some massive damage here, Nasus is an option. I won't deny the fact that it is. The one thing that I don't like about it is that it's not going to be able to follow up with the Vi in order to get onto the back line. Now, it is going to be a side lane menace, and that does kind of say that it might even just be better in a lot of these areas to let fights kind of happen naturally, not go for those bigger team fights, because you were not able to pull them off in the last area, and when you were winning the fights to begin with, it was because they were segmented and because their team was split off. And if you want to double down on that, then I will totally understand you, and I think that'll be an excellent play to sit back, say, you know what? Fine. You want to go and you want to try to ramp everything up in this game. We're going to play it slow. We're going to play it safe. We're going to just clear waves. We're going to farm up. And then at around like the 25-minute mark, Nasus is going to say, hey, guess what? You've heard of the stat stick? Guess what? You've got one. Mine is bigger. And if you can throw that out there and you can have it so that he's going to just be checking everyone by pressing one Q on them and saying goodbye, you know, say hello. Like, I'm based off of Seth. Welcome to the afterlife. By all means, that's what's going to be happening in this game. If it gets there, we don't know.
But in the meantime, as we go over these couple of spicy picks coming in for both sides, we're going to take it back to the analyst desk real quick, bring Haru in, and see what her thoughts are on the Vi pick. Tristana mid, most likely, and Nasus top, which I don't think I've seen in any of the games I've casted, but this should be exciting.
Oh,
Haru's
I was
muted.
not.
Now
I
you're
was
muted.
Hi guys. I'm back. So I am excited to see the Vi pick because I recently, yesterday, just finished all of Arcane, and I love Vi.
Nice.
Like Vi's my favorite,
Banger
absolutely. I know everybody's a Jinx fan. I went to Comic-Con. Everybody literally cosplay as Jinx, but I personally would have loved a Vi cosplay. And then it's like the ultimate package, Jinx vs. Vi.
How do you
But
think I
anyways,
felt? How do you think I felt watching Arcane? And like I've got like I play a lot of Jace, and then Jace in that show. Oh dear.
oh my good. Oh yeah,
I was like, I'm
love
like,
Jace
wow.
too.
I feel like this is the worst way to like introduce like a Jace main.
And that that was also around the time when Jinx was like
Oh.
hot in the meta, so like everyone was also playing Jinx, and I'm like, please just let me play a game of her.
Yeah. And now, like, have you at least played one game ever since of Jinx?
Oh yeah, I played several games. I enjoyed playing Jinx before Arcane made it cool. Which reminds me, give me season 2 Riot Games.
You know what?
Give it to me.
The ending was, it blew my mind. There were so many references to the actual game
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the movie. I loved it.
No,
It
no
was so well done.
spoilers. No
Artwork,
spoilers.
pen and pen.
We'll leave it at
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah,
if you
that's it.
haven't, if there's any way that we're gonna shill for Riot Games, like I'll
Go
talk
watch
about the client all
Arcane,
day.
even if
Go
you
watch
won't
Arcane.
play
Go watch
League.
Arcane. It's really great.
It's
That
so
being
good.
said,
Anyway.
we're not talking about Arcane right now, but we are talking about the Jinx. Jinx
want
as
it.
a pick into this. Now they've got a dual ADC comp with a primary damage kind of being shifted around and looked at from being AD. Like that is a lot invested into the
Oh,
AD, which
yeah.
I do think we could see the shift of the power here is going to be the late game. It's such a weird comp to look at when you look at like the snowballing potential for sure, right? The ability to take down towers, especially coming from Tristana and from the Jinx. At some point, if you've ramped them up and you just kind of say, oh, go over into a side lane, just start pushing really, really hard, maybe against the Nasus too to deny him some CS. Then yes, you can affect the game real quick. Now on the flip side of that, if they're able to absorb that pressure, which it didn't happen last time, so I mean it's definitely a possibility. If you can absorb that pressure over onto Stephen Hawking's Dance Club's side, and just say, "We're good. We don't want this. You know what? Take our tower by all means. You know what? We'll hold the next tower. We're good. You know what? No, here. You know what? I'll be back here. Okay. You over there. Right? It's fine. It's fine. We're good. We're good. That guy. Okay. He's throwing his money into stocks. He's got it over in his stick, and you know what? He'll be talking to you later." And then Nasus comes in later and he'll be smacking them. If that doesn't happen, I do think that we are going to look at another like steamroll here. But I want to put faith and say that I think that it is a bold play to throw together this comp and to say we're gonna win and we're gonna win early. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because all really Thresh, Vi, and Nasus, well, Vi less so, but more Nasus and Thresh have to do is just stack armor as the game goes on, and then the damage to the 280 carries won't even mean anything. And if they leave Nasus alone for too long, he'll literally just walk up to the 80 carries, just all right,
Yeah,
you're dead.
just slap him. And I mean, like, yeah, sure, Tristana can like push him away a little bit too, but I mean, like, you've still got a Vi that's gonna come at you, right? There's a lot of stuff that can still kind of just like aim to go over at whoever is going to be stronger. So I mean, like, team comp wise, I do want to say that. I mean, like I said it last time too, to some degree, that like SH DC is definitely like more fit for winning it. But I do want to give credit to Staff Sucks, as much as I hate your name. That you have shown that you can play like this. Now, can you play like that again? I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah, of course.
Probably.
It's,
I mean,
it's
probably.
The
I don't know.
It's
I mean,
playoffs.
if they
to play
do,
good.
if they do, they got to do it one more time. Then
They do.
just to close
Yeah.
out the series. And
Yeah.
let's say they've runs out. Let's say they do this and do this again, and they run out of gas in game 3. We have a potential for maybe even talking about a reverse sweep, but we're not going to even get anywhere near that
I'm not-
until
So
until
what are
Please
the
no,
predictions?
let it end.
So to write it down, DVC, Lucan, what are you predicting for game 2? Who's gonna take it?
Stephen Hawking should, if they execute this exactly the way Lucan was saying, theoretically. But we said that last game, and then Staff Sucks decided, nah, y'all are wrong. See, Homeboy just went dark because he don't even know what either.
Like,
I'm in the shadows.
okay,
See?
what's your prediction? At least we can hear you. Like, what's your shadow prediction? He's so
What's my
tilted
shadow
that
prediction?
he like literally.
I'm so mad that my camera turned off so that it didn't record me saying this on camera. But I'll throw it out here. I'm gonna make a very, very specific prediction on what is gonna happen here. And we'll see if it does kind of lay out, because I do think this is how it should play out. I think that early on we're going to see a lot of pressure thrown onto the bot side again, because they've kind of identified that target as being weaker. Now, if there's success in the first early couple of ganks over and over again down there, then they are going to break that lane, and then they're going to shift it over to mid, and they're going to take every single dragon. We're going to see roughly the same thing that happened in the first game. On the flip side of that, if the Thresh is able to constantly pull back the Varus and to peel for him every time that those ganks come in here, and they decide to play not even just safe, but they just decide to play smart, and they are able to absorb those early pressure points, I don't think that they lose. I think the entire portion of this game is going to depend on how those early, I guess realistically, the mid and bot plays play out. And if they play out on either one of the sides in those early portions, whichever team comes up better from it will take the game away. And because of that, I want to say that you're not tilted after game 1 in a 5-game series. You're looking at everything that you've done, and you are going to say, I'm going to correct it. I'm going to correct all my mistakes, and we are going to win this next game, because I know where they beat us, and that is why they put them onto safer picks in the first place. I'm giving it to SHTC.
Cool.
Right. So I have casted your votes, and we are going to take it to break and then take it to draft. Are you ready, both of you? And hopefully Lucan will have his camera fixed, but
It'll
if
be
not,
fixed. I got the-
DBZ will express
I got it. Although there is that. It's coming up. There we go. Oh, that's
All right,
shooting
we gotta
up.
do
There
the
we go.
post.
Hey.
We're going to
like
break
it.
now. Oh, hey, that's way better. Now we actually see the full view.
To the Risen recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a
Wake
bang.
up!
Quicksand asleep,
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up.
but I gotta say he was smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo Boys playing up against Clarity Black. For the first 20 minutes of the game, it was a bit of fighting in the top lane, but not much happened besides that.
Oh, but the engage coming out from Sejuani, but it's trading back, and Maokai actually regenerated a lot more health than I would expected there.
For Boxer Squirrel, just really those kind of impacts making a huge difference in the gold.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I want to call them Triple B, BBB, or Big Bongo Boys, because they're all, actually they're not all same solos.
Then there was a mega turnaround fight for the Big Bongo Boys after they made a big dragon attempt, but then they got challenged again for the dragon attempt, which Big Bongo Boys won the fight towards.
On this side, and there's a 3 on the other side, but I can't punch to it, and I can't cut to it. But Boxer Squirrel in the midst of it all, unable to get too much out, but finds the Q before his last dies. And Chicken Fried Rice to escape with good depth does not unfortunately have the W enough up to heal up. And they call comes back in the circuit, but finds.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Game 2 of this best of 5 between Staff Sucks and Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. Currently, Staff Sucks. Wow, I almost butchered that. Is up 1-0 in this series. Can they keep that momentum they had in Game 1 and like take us to match point? We will definitely find out as this game goes on. As we're looking, we have a classic 5-point stance coming in from SHTC, but not so much from the other side. Jarvan went, I imagine, placed a ward somewhere on the top side. Nope, he baited me. But looks like he dropped the ward, went back, got a sweeper, and will be starting in this bot side. So this is a different start for him by the looks of it. Yep, it is. So Tristana went for the lethal tempo instead of Hail of Blades, which I'm actually surprised about. Most Tristana mids will go for the Hail of Blades to be able to, get those chunks in a little faster. But this time, I imagine there's some big brain thing that Yastariel has that we don't know. We almost flamed him for the middle fid pick, but then he showed us, that's for sure. Vi will go ahead, get this red buff right at the start, and in the meantime, pretty standard starts. Jarvan will finish his buff first. Yep. Who's gonna finish it? Who's gonna finish it first? Will you finish it first? So I get it. Okay, Jarvan. So go ahead, do the Raptors here with his next upgraded ability, and he's probably gonna aim towards that top side, so that way Nasus can't do whatever he wants about 25 minutes into the game.
The flip side of it too, and I just want to interject here because there might be something happening really quick here as well too. Trist is about to get level 2, and level 2 for Trist is absolutely insane. There's actually this next minion here, and I would expect, there we go. There's the jump in to deal the damage, but takes a tower shot. Doesn't really matter because the damage still comes through, but the ignite is used, and that does mean that we might actually see another jump coming back in, but another tower shot. Come on, man! You are taking way too much if you want to keep going at him there. So, like, that was one of the biggest contention points there. Man, Tristana's level 2 is insane. That is one champion that you really don't want to, like, let get that early level 2 while the wave is, like, more so pushing towards you. Otherwise, you're constantly under your tower and you're begging your jungler for help. You're like, please, like, I'll give you half my wave. It'll keep me alive. But that being said, it looks like he is just going to see that the Vi had started top side, is going to go back down over to the bot side, and he's not even going to go for the gank over onto the Nasus because Nasus has let himself get pushed in. That being said, though, with that information, it does mean that he's probably relayed it down over to the bot lane, and we're not going to be able to see any sort of proactive gank coming in from here if Vi wants to go down, and if it does happen, it's not likely to work.
Now, one thing I will say is the advantage that Victor has over the Tristana for now is he has the teleport to get back to lane. She had to walk all the way back but didn't miss anything because of where the wave was. She traded that perfectly and the wave was put in a weird spot. Ooh, you missed the cannon bugger. Ooh. Anyways, the wave was left near the tower, so therefore she was able just to walk fully back to lane. Jarvan was here for a little something cheeky, but they're going to do something in the bot lane here.
Vi coming in, and they're actually going to abuse in the opposite direction that we were expected to. But because of the way that is done, oh, maybe it's still a kill because of the 3 procs over on that W for the Varus. Man, okay, so weirdly enough, we're seeing a little bit of a different sort of powerhouse coming in here, but we are seeing another gank to the mid lane. Oh man, here it comes, but you know what? The flash immediately used. Flag and drag. Popping in through, and that does mean likely a repeat gank over onto mid side, but if anything, I think that's kind of what you want to see, is you want to see that the Veigar is saying, you know what, there's no point in going down to the bot side, Thresh is likely to pull him away, so I'm going to have to only go to top and mid, when last time your ADC getting ahead was really your win condition. Another pop over, and tossing over some abilities back and forth here, but absorbing a lot of the pressure and throwing back the damage as all that you really need at this point now from Victor is to throw up and say, you know what? I really think that it'd be good if I picked up some armor here. Maybe I get, yeah, I'm gonna get that armor. And then you come back into lane, and any sort of gank even is just so much less effective on you.
Yeah, I honestly think it's not troll here to actually build tabbies here for, like, honestly, for the Victor. You're going to get Seekers later anyways, so just stacking that armor to be able to negate some of that damage is honestly huge, and the way Victor can pretty much stop the Triss from doing all that nukage damage that she can normally do with that gravity field is going to be really good for him. Now, she's going to get a reset. She picked up, looks like either another, or actually just now picked up a longsword along with the pink ward. So she's not really doing too much. Thresh walking into the enemy jungle here to get some vision down. Good deep ward there. Now, he's going to walk over this pink if he goes.
Here comes the Vi, though, as the slow comes down. Vi's coming in and throws down the fist that you can use there. Armor has been reduced, but it looks like we're going to see Nasus get away, and the kill goes over to the Vi. Now, that can be a huge point to kind of roll around with. If we do start to see a Vi that gets very strong in this early game, that is already talking about eliminating the backline and also being likely more tanky and going the bruiser route. Killing off anyone who's going to be back there is going to be huge. Now, if we do see something happen, it's gonna have to happen somewhere quick, because this game is quickly getting out of control for Staff Sucks.
Oh yeah, it's such a different pace compared to this game. At this point, Jinx already had 2 kills, I think. Fiddle had already had 2, I believe, as well, but a much different way that this game is going. You've got the Vi being proactive on the map more than the Jarvan, but that's necessarily kind of what she does. Vi is looking to like force those advantages in the lane. I also noticed she bought the Executioner's Calling, which is very interesting, which I imagine that's just pretty much off-rip for the Soraka. They see the Jarvan walking, so they know he's in the area. Do we get a counter gank potentially from the Vi here? I think we might get one. Because he's going to go into that
looks like
push.
it could happen.
Oh. They're looking. They're looking.
Yeah, Scuttle's being taken here, and it looks like they want to commit even more with... Oh, maybe not. I was going to say Tristana might be coming down for the roam here, but I don't think it'd be a good idea to leave Victor with a solo push.
But they do see the Vi.
Yes. And you gotta,
no.
wonder if it's a time to back off or time to go in here, because the longer that you stay here, the worse that it is for the Jarvan. If you don't find the angle, but there's the angle from the Jarvan, using the flag and drag and coming down over and dealing so much damage over onto the Varus, but it looks like you're not even going to get that. You're only going to be getting the Thresh as Vi comes back in there and is able to help absorb the wave here. And on the flip side of the map, you've got Nasus, who is likely going to be... well, doing a lot of damage, but he is actually taken away by the Twisted Advance, I believe it's called. No, the something tree grass,
Nature's
whatever
grass.
it was. The ultimate denied as well too from using. We've got a lot going on here. If there's gonna be another flash coming by, but there's a lot of damage coming back over, and Sisters are brawling in the bot lane, throwing just fists and rockets at each other back and forth as we start to see Nasus coming back over and doing a little bit more damage over on the top side here and just kind of doing some passive trades. Now, what do they get for that? They get a dragon, and of all the things they could have gotten, it's a Cloud Drake. For all of that effort, it's expended into the bot side of the map. It doesn't feel great. I'll be the one to say that. You got a Flash and you got a Cloud Drake. You'd like to see something a little bit bigger than that to begin with, but you know what? You've got to take what you've got because the early game has not gone in your way at all.
This kid is really freezing this lane up there. He's actually freezing the wave.
Imagine, try hard.
I give him props for that. So in about a minute, a little over a minute, I'm going to do what I like to do called a stat check. Whenever we have champions that do permanent stacking in these games, I like to just look at their stats. So in about 10 minutes, I'll check and see how many stacks the Nasus have. Vi is coming back up here. There's no flash on the Maokai, and I think he just dies.
Yeah, it's not looking great for him. His days are definitely numbered, and honestly, I'd say probably his minutes are numbered.
To the Nasus.
I would say that.
Oh, okay.
Well, not to the Nasus, but the flag drag coming down, and we do see the flash coming out of the Thresh as we are starting to see more of that pressure being thrown back over to the bot side, especially as an answer over to the top side of the map being ganked repeatedly here. But I mean, like, once again, it's very much something that you can kind of just absorb, and while the flash is gone there on that Thresh, I mean, like, it's not really the Thresh that you want to be putting behind, really. You're going to want to be catching out that Varus, and at this point now, I'd say that ADC, you just throw the wards over into that middle brush, and you stay safe. But overall, nothing really gained on the bot side outside of the flash. Let's see if he does something from there. But I mean,
I know where he is.
It's not exactly it's not what you want to see done, especially considering that you also lost the Herald up there, and I'm gonna wonder where that's gonna be put up next, because that will be the next breakpoint to set up the next objective.
I'm gonna point out something real quick. That ward that is right by Jarvan's red buff is doing absolute numbers. They see where he is multiple times now because no one just walks in and clears that ward. Absolutely big brain ward coming in from the side of SHDC for that one. Now in the meantime,
who's the one who put down that ward? I want to give them props even more.
It was Thresh.
So Thresh. See, look at that. Even though he's lost his flash, you know what? He knows the next time he comes around when he's gonna be there. Easy.
Yep.
Calculated player there.
It is 10 minutes and 40 seconds. It's time for our stat check. We have 168 stacks on the Nasus, so pretty good start right now. We'll check again in we'll actually check back in like 5 minutes to see. This kid is still freezing the wave.
And the thing is that they got the entire river warded up there too. For any way that you can come in from a standard river gank, it's lit up like a Christmas tree in those areas there to where if you want to pop into that area, you're going to be seen. With that being the case too, we're likely going to... It looks like they were pinging actually to show that Vi is is seen over on that side. Which does mean that we might see some sort of fight bot side here next, but at this point in time, we got the flash coming in as Maokai is going to be throwing down and running away and just flashing. But what are we going to see beyond there? Oh boy!
Flash. Here comes
We've got a lot
of
of damage coming over onto the Jarvan, while Thresh is tanking a lot of it right now himself. Vi coming in, though, and just jumping in on top of
She got exhausted.
this Soraka, but the exhaust coming through. But there's so much damage they can still be throwing out, but Varus is out of mana.
comes
He can't
Tristana.
throw down a Q. Tristana coming down and maybe looking to try and clean something up here, although I don't know how well of a play that would be, as Varus is likely going to start having enough here.
going
Popping
in.
over the wall, jumping over, getting knocked back, and also them getting knocked back as damage is just being thrown left and right, but nothing actually connecting that's going to be solid as Nasus keeps farming up in the top lane, putting on the pressure onto this Maokai.
He should get this plate. No, he's not gonna get it. Okay, he's gonna back off, reset. I think that is a Sunder he's building, it looks like. I think it's Divine Sunder that's going to be coming in. Makes sense. Oh, and I just noticed that Vi had finished the Chain Sword coming in for some anti-heal.
That is a really early chain sword. I don't know about
I'm
that.
cool with it because, you know, Soraka healing's pretty obnoxious, but I'm also like, why?
I'm wondering why. I mean, you can kind of just sit over on the standard Grievous from, it's not Avarice Blade, what is it?
Executioner's going.
Executioners, yeah, from Executioners. Avarice, man, that's an item.
I was about to say, I know how long you've been playing League by mentioning that one.
Yeah, and you can also see that I never buy healing reduction items.
What's the point? I mean, look how much it reduces. 25%, and then after their velocity, it does 40, which is, in my opinion, is not enough. It needs to be at minimum like 60.
Yeah, it doesn't make too much sense to me. But that being said, we've got Nasus kind of throwing down the hammer again. The
Here he
cane is
goes.
being dropped, but, you know, direct-to-camera says, doesn't matter. Look what's happening bot lane. As we start to see
nice.
just a takedown, and it's a very different game. With the 80 carries being shifted in the opposite direction as to who's fed and who's not.
And the jungle's lagging.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Man, okay.
right then.
We got a little bit of a break here as I take off my analyst glasses.
So far what you've been seeing is coming to fruition, though, is they've been absorbing that pressure that they knew was going to be coming. Sure, Jinx got a couple of kills, but they're on Thresh, and it's not that big of a deal. Okay,
And we're on pause. But
Okay,
regardless, they're dropping down the Herald here, and they're going to get even more gold on here. I would like to see one person walk away while these plates are being taken, but fortunately not going to happen, and they're only going to grab the 107 each on that. But still a decent amount to take off the 3 plates, and possibly the next 4, as we are going to be catching up in the spectator delay. And Jarvan is looking to possibly do a flag and drag after we see this little bit of a delay, delay. So...
I'm kind of curious what they're gonna do because, like, I'm like anticipating.
Doesn't matter.
They're gonna ignore it. They should.
Nothing happened.
I think they get the tower though if they do stay here. It looks like they're gonna get the tower. So first tower will go over to SHDC. This is a much different pace. They're up 3,000 gold at 14 minutes. And honestly, I say this is the team that I recall casting last week who were able to make proactive plays down in their bot lane. Their jungler making proactive plays in the top side of the map as well, and their mid laner kind of holding down the fort. This is exactly what I was talking about when they played last week. And now in the meantime, it looks like they're gonna try to make a play out of the Tristana. No, they're not. Okay. I think if Victor gets jumped on here, they will try to make a play for it because he's kind of baiting it right now. Okay, no, they're not. Oh, they finally found that ward. Okay.
I am so surprised that he hasn't picked up Seekers yet, but I mean, like, I guess he hasn't really needed to. They haven't really been focusing him down. It is a little confusing, I will say, but I mean, like, look at all the other armor. Look at all of those cloth armors that are being picked up over from between the Vi and the Nasus, and Nasus's god is what is this, glacial shroud or whatever it's called now.
Whatever, glacial.
Whatever it is, but he's got all of his pieces that he needs in order to just ignore anybody who's going to deal any AD damage to him, which is the only damage that is going to be happening on that team at all, because it looks like even as far as it goes for the Maokai is behind right now. They're going to be able to grab this dragon possibly scot-free. I don't think you really want to contest right now. As
that's a good
boy,
point.
here comes the Soraka. Is she gonna have anything gonna happen? Don't really know at this moment here, but there is. Oh no, that's not great. Victor getting caught out, and this might be the misplay of actually going in here, as Victor is taken out by Jinx. Wow. Okay. you still definitely got the ability to do something here. Oh boy, but you just went in, and I don't know.
Wins this.
Nasus,
Oh
though,
no!
the ult throwing down, but he's still running after him, and he might get that last, but that flash had to be used. But there it is. Doesn't matter. He's still going for it, and you've still got a lot that's happening here. Next, we do see that Vi was looking for another play to maybe grab over onto the Jinx, and Jinx might be the only hope really on their side now for them to take away, but they are going to kind of collapse over onto this Nasus, who
if they give this shutdown to the Jinx, this is huge.
It definitely could be, and it looks like it might just happen, as it is.
Yep,
the shutdown,
they gave it
450 gold going over to Jinx from the Nasus. Now, you did say that you wanted to do a check over under there, but we might have to wait another minute because it looks like we might have another fight happening here next. Doesn't look like they're really convinced that would be a good idea at this exact moment. But we might actually see something as Herald is being taken here. And we've got the pressure being thrown down from the Soraka, kind of grabbing some vision, and Thresh kind of posturing to look and see if he can do anything. Vi definitely looks like she wants to seal, and it looks like she's going to pop over. Does she get it? She does
no, I don't think
not. And it looks like it's going to be popped over onto the Jinx. All the damage thrown down here as Varus.
No!
No! Okay, you know what? I take it back. Even if you had that ward earlier, you stole that kill from your Varus. That is not deserved.
Oh, he was in the midst of going through the last auto, and Thresh just autos one more time. Oh, that's such a big misplay, because you don't want that fat shutdown going over to him. You want that going over to your Varus, or I guess the Vi too. But still, oh.
He's
so
trolling his AD carry. And really, I mean, like, that is very sad to see all of that shutdown go directly on him. Over on Staff Suck's side, though, you're definitely happy to see that. You are wiping away the sweat from your brow after you're seeing that one going, oh, no, could have been a lot worse. Didn't work out quite great, but they still managed to get that Herald. They'll still be able to throw it over into another lane, and they'll be able to make likely some sort of extended play off of it. Now, the other contention point that I want to bring out here too, and this is going to be the I want to say the only real saving grace that you're going to be able to have if you can get all of them, is that it is Infernal Drake, and it will be Infernal Soul later on into the game. At this point now, you need to recognize what your win condition is, and that you are going to be doing so much reduced damage coming into this late game because you are strictly AD. You want to make sure that you don't care about the Barons happening. You do not care at all whenever they start pushing. Every single time you want to be grabbing those dragons, because if you don't get at least the next 2 dragons, I don't think you're going to be doing any damage probably in the next like 7 minutes even. We're already seeing the armor being built over onto the tanks here. You've even got Locket over onto the Thresh. There is a lot that is going to be negated that you want to do over on the side of Staff Sucks. So like that's kind of what I'm looking at here for the next little bit. But that's the way it's going to kind of crumble here. It's not been all working out in their favor, but there is still a chance.
Now, I'm going to tear over to Nasus real quick. He has 384 stacks at 19 minutes. That's actually kind of ridiculous. He was about to two-shot that the Tristana earlier, and I think that might have been at like 200 stacks. He has the Frozen Heart, too, which means, like, neither her nor Jinx are going to really do damage to him anymore. And if he gets the throw-in mail like I'm thinking he will, that's going to be even more just you don't do damage to me. Then now, Tristana can knock him away to keep him from getting to her, because, you know, he doesn't have flash right now. But as we are approaching this dragon here in a minute, they're going to clear some vision, drop the Herald, and get this mid tower in the process, and that'll open up the map a lot more for Staff Sucks here.
As 50 seconds are going by too for the dragon, so yeah, we're probably going to end up seeing something big happen here soon, because they just opened that side up, but they're actually posturing up. Maybe breaking the expectations and maybe trying to go something for the Victor, but it looks like they're just going to grab the red buff. And they do miss out, but getting a little bit of damage back and recognizing that something's going on here as they do.
But they're giving up so much pressure here.
I'm a little confused on this one, to be honest.
I also don't know why SHDC is following this instead of just kind of going, because they can't do the Baron right now with just the 3 of them. Jinx doesn't have enough items to do it. Like, if she had the Phantom Dancer, maybe you threaten it, but right now, dragon's just kind of free. They just give it up.
I'm a little confused by their play to not move over and take a little bit more agency over into the boss side of the map, especially because at this point, there's 2 things that you definitely want to do. For one, you want to secure dragons. You want to start to get that steamroll like going. But
oh my god!
Oh man, I had to say something, you know, like, you know what? It's not a mistake if you steal it.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, you gotta defeat the expectations. Yeah, this is a reverse caster curse, man. It's just like they're showing why their name is what their name is. Because apparently I'm not calling out that Jinx is just gonna steal it with their rocket.
Well,
So they do end up getting that, and apparently they're saying, you know, most people say like, oh, you know, you can't have your cake, you need it too. They're saying no, that's not true. We're gonna have the cake, and I was already eating it actually.
Well, they also stopped bursting the dragon. They stopped like autoing it as hard as they were, and Jinx just like and just like what was the thought process? Like, yeah, we'll go ahead and just stop hitting the dragon. No, keep hitting the dragon. That dragon was so free. Like they like. Staff Sucks gave up all of the map pressure on the boss side of the map, and that should have been immediate like grounds for whatever Stephen Hawking to like go into the river, take control, and just like I'm just so befuddled with what happened there. Whatever.
Yeah, it was definitely a misplay on one side, but at the same time was also a great steal from that Jinx, as that does kind of push them back into keeping up a little bit of that pressure. And on top of that, they were able to secure the vision around the Baron there too. So they literally got everything they could have wanted out of that. There wasn't really a negative side to it at this point either. But as you got the emoting Nasus,
oh my god,
throwing down his cane and just throwing down his damage, knowing that he's got that Tristana stuck in that lane and unable to leave, because if you do, I'm pretty sure that Nasus just ends the game. I don't think there's really a way that you can deal with that. It is not the greatest way to feel when you've got to expend your ult and everything else, and you're just kind of stuck farming against this guy who's slowly building up and becoming scarier and scarier. All he's looking at is angles to just jump in on you, but at the same time,
somebody has to come help her. Somebody has to come help her, right?
There needs to be, and I mean, like, the longer that this goes on, like, how much gold is that Nasus sitting on right now?
He is sitting on only 800 gold. I think he backed recently because now he has the Aegis written up.
Oh yeah, he does have the Aegis. Jeez.
What's he building into that? I actually honestly do not remember what that builds into.
There's...
Is the gargoyles?
It might be, yeah. And in which case, like, I mean, like, you can kind of pull that off too if you get into the back line. It's just a weird item to build because, like, you're just not really having a time when you're directly over in the back of them. Honestly, if I were to see anything, I would have rather seen, like...
Oh, here we go. Now they're roaming down towards them.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Is it going to amount to anything, though? Like, I don't know if... Unless you bring 4 people to take care of them, you're not really getting anything. And at that point, you're kind of just giving up top tower and Baron pressure. They can just look to start getting all those wards back, and it looks like they already are. It looks like Jarvan's going to try to dissuade Victor from taking anything more there, but it's like... It's an auto attack away.
Just sneeze
on it. That you're able to kind of like pull away and put into that position. We are seeing that
100
Thresh,
HP.
Yeah, Thresh is looking to move the vision line up so that they can prep for the Baron. And wow, that Jarvan is taking a lot of damage right now.
Oh my god.
Just a little bit. As we see,
there's Vi.
You almost had the Vi coming in to secure the kill here, but it looks like they want to double down and say that,
Victor?
oh man, Victor almost died into the tower.
He's
dead to the Jinx. But it looks like in return we are going to see this J4 die, but at the same time we're also seeing Vi die. And we've got an excited Jinx looking to run down the rest of the fight here, and it looks like we're honestly probably going to be seeing the next... Oh man, I did not expect that to connect. It looks like Varus is likely dead here too, clearing up the fight, showing why
he almost died.
Wow, left with 1 health. And
hold on. So they end up losing that fight because Victor missteps, pretty much take 4 tower shots for no reason, gives Jinx a 3 quadra kill and her free 3rd item. What is going on? Like, Stephen Hawking.
The only thing that this has proven to me is that Stephen Hawking's dance club's biggest enemy is themselves.
They have complete control.
They're overstepping their boundaries. They're like, oh man, we're doing so good. We can start playing a little bit faster. When they really don't need to. You've got a Nasus just chilling in the bot lane. You literally just need to clear waves and wait for him to hit like 35 minutes and then the game
Oh,
is free.
Vi is dead again.
Vi is hit up and knocked out by the flag and drag, killed over again, and that's another dragon. And it looks like the one condition that I gave over to Staff Sucks that they would have to use to win is happening. And once again, not even out of... like I do gotta give credit to Fluvo here, that like yeah he's playing a really good game, but I mean like you're being given these excited procs. You are very much being like you're like there is just money that is being tossed at you left and right, and I mean like it's
don't get it.
You're using it well. I'll give you that. But here goes the parent taken away here, and they'll very much be able to make a play with that. Nasus is gonna have to go and keep farming over on the bot side. Can we do a stat check real quick on the Nasus? Because like he's still a ticking time bomb, but I mean that Jinx is now very scary.
I like this was their game to lose. I honestly think they might have thrown the whole game away just off of that one play on the top side. Like the gold is swung in favor of Staff Sucks now. Like, dude. Stephen Hawking had this game! How do you throw it all away because you agreed for a tower? Now Nasus can't split push because now Trista's there to burn up the minions so he can't get... I'm sorry, Stephen Hawking. I'm flaming you guys so hard, but it's honestly well-deserved. Just, you threw this game away. You had this game so hardcore in your hands. You agreed for a top lane tower, get basically aced minus the Nasus who wasn't there. Like, you just have to just let Nasus do his thing, and someone has to answer him always. Otherwise, they can't do anything.
All right. We can calm down the flame a little bit because the biggest point here is that the main point of the Vi still being viable is that it is literally all of that gold is on that Jinx. But if you keep getting caught, man, you can't be walking up like that. You need to be looking for flanks with all of your team and one person. You need to be pulling a 4-1 right now and reacting to where they're at and going from there.
God.
The biggest things that you can count on is that you need to take care of the Soraka and you need to take care of the Jinx. Jinx likely beforehand, but that being said, you've got a lot of damage coming in from this Nasus, but there's a lot of damage being thrown onto him as well too. Oh boy, and that's just a clear out for the Jinx, and another triple kill, taking down the tower and clearing out the top lane. You don't even have the Varus. You can't even be answering. You got to be giving up a tower to take out that shutdown gold on the Jinx. But like, that's another good point here. We might actually be seeing the end here. They needed to end early. They got all the tools that needed to have here. And you're not really able to do anything against this right now. You've got another 9 seconds on Thresh, but I don't think it's enough, as I think that we're likely going to be seeing, and not even likely, we are definitely seeing the end of the game, and another win for Staff Sucks.
No!
Ugh.
No! That was not how this game was supposed to go! No! What? How do you... They had a lead. They had like 3k gold or something like that up. Stephen Hawking did. But then they threw it all away at that top lane play. They threw the game away.
I think you guys are cursed. Maybe today.
You know, like, at this point now, I just gotta sit, like, whatever comp they bring out, I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, nope. Like, it shouldn't work. But, you know, it'll work. Taking the critical point from it.
Take the Jinx off the table.
Yeah.
Not just that. I will be totally honest. Out of like anyone that could hold a Nasus off, Tristana is most likely one of the okay picks to do it. That's what I've noticed when I've first.
I definitely it's a lot of the
it.
parts. It's a lot of the parts coming together. Like they're able to deal with things individually. It was purely down to execution, and the biggest problem that I have with that game, and DBZ, I know you feel the same way on this one, is that it wasn't even the execution on this side of Staff Sucks that like it being good was the thing. It was very much Stephen Hawking's dance club shooting themselves in the foot and going, "Ow, why'd you do this?" That was like the entirety of the last, I want to say, like 7 minutes of that game.
7 minutes of that game.
Oh man. To preface just the pain that I feel right now.
I'm tilted for them.
Yeah, that was definitely a way to win. I will once again give plops to Flevo. He definitely was he was the only one who was even like slightly in a position to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he is, if there was a player to look at to be worried about at this point in playoffs, it's Flevo. Flevo showed that he's shown that in these 2 games he's like, listen, I don't care if my team's falling apart all around me. I don't care about all of these fires. Everything can be burning. I will I am the bucket of I am the fire hose.
He's like the meme where it's like he's a dog. The dog drinking coffee and it's the fire is like lighting around him and he's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I got this.
It totally was. He was pretty much like all of his team's damage share. In fact, I'm looking at the stats right now, and it looks like he was just shy of everyone on his team's damage combined.
Yeah.
He was like 2 or 3k damage. Yeah, he was 2 or k damage behind on that, and I'm pretty sure if that game would have gone one more fight, he would have been literally his entire team's damage combined.
Yeah.
Maybe the whole game combined.
I gotta mention something. Stephen Hawking's Dance Club, they had a lead in the bot lane. Sure, Jinx got a couple of kills on the Thresh, but they had a lead. They got first tower. They had leads everywhere on the map, especially the Nasus. The Nasus was literally 2-shotting.
They had awesome vision. They had awesome early game vision.
Exactly.
Yeah, they had everything going for them.
They had everything set up, but just because someone decided to greed for a 155 health top tower that they could have just waited for the next wave for, they stage a really bad fight. They get wiped by the Jinx, who gets a quadra kill. They lose the game pretty much off that play alone, and this should be a 1-1 series right now. Stephen Hawking's Dance Club has got to be shooting themselves in the foot for that play, exactly as you said. But they just have to be kicking themselves. And this is something that I take to my great inspiration. One of my inspires for casting is Azael. Azael would probably say the exact same things I was saying. Is they lost the game off of that one play right there, and why they should not have made that play.
Anyways, why don't we go on a more positive note and talk about some of the good players?
It's really bad. If we look at the last,
we're a little tilted. I know we're all tilted, but you know what? There were a lot of positives to, well, if you can think about it, some positives to that game. And Staff Sucks did do very well.
Let me drag out my imaginary. Let me drag out my imaginary whiteboard here. Here's the last 7 minutes of the game. I'm scrubbing that away. Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about
let's take a look. Let's take a
Both
look at
teams
it.
were doing
Let's take a look at it
awesome.
from this point here, because oh yeah, I could flame you for a very long time about the last 7 minutes, and
I
he can too. Now let's change this up a bit and say what you did right. You absorbed the pressure and you recognized what they wanted to do in that game.
Mm-hmm.
You had a team comp that theoretically should have been able to handle the Jinx, but the main issue, and I know that the main issues that you were having to deal with here, was the Soraka putting the silence onto you anytime that you'd go into the back line, and that you were a little bit too gung-ho once you started getting that lead, and that you wanted to accelerate it end earlier. You didn't have to do that. So, things to shore up on in this next game that I better see. I better see it. No words. I better see it. Yeah, no. Everybody gets one. But I better see it. Okay, I better see it.
Okay.
Because if you are to just For one, slow down the pace like you were doing in the early game. Absorb the pressure. You did that fine. Keep up the way that you were doing the early game vision. Maybe work around your late game vision as well too, and just recognize where your strong lane is. Build off of that. You're fine. You're good there. Your strong lane is your top lane. Keep playing around him. I would say give your top laner a little bit more. You need to give him more mobility to be able to get on top of people. You've shown that he's the better top laner in this matchup. Give him a little more, because the Nasus is a great idea, and he's able to definitely play that, but you put him on a champion like Camille, you're going to be doing similar amounts of damage, but you're also going to be able to dive onto them as well, too. You need 2 champions that can dive onto that backline. You have that Vi, if you can pull it up again, or any other sort of backline diving jungler, Rek'Sai, Nocturne, whatever, okay? You put that together with somebody else who's got more mobility in the top lane that's also going to be a side lane pressure, you will win that match. 100%, I'll throw that out there. You win that match. Now, if you don't do that, if you don't do that, then if you don't do that, or if you don't win, it is your own fault in your own macro play. But you did everything correct there. I think you just need to shore it up from there. And then over onto the side of Staff Sucks. For one, I hate your name. I will say it over and over again. I will say that the one saving grace that you guys have is your ADC. At this point, why not just play Lulu Kong? Like, why am I not seeing that? Disgusting if you throw it out there. But you play that. I just think that, like, if you throw out a comp like that and you just kind of like double down, like if they decide to ban the Jinx, then you just say whatever, just choose another hyper carry, and you choose the best one that's just going to be late game, get there, and then just kill everyone because you're impossible. But
now I will say though.
That's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say.
One final note is that Stephen Hawking's Dance Club is gonna stay on red side for this game.
Wow.
Okay.
They've chosen red side all 3 games. Now
they want that. They want that counter pick.
They really do. They want one of the counter picks. Now I hope that they do get counter pick. I think maybe leave the Jinx up. It's fine. You have, just like you said, dive. You have the tools to do it. This is the same position that DRX was in. That was in this past weekend. They lost game 2 exactly in a not exactly a cool similar fashion, because theirs was much cooler, but it's possible. The reverse sweep angle is possible. Will we see it? I don't know. Game 3 will definitely be the determinant of that, but we should cut it to break so that way we can recover and I can stop flaming.
Anyways, good luck to both teams if you're both seeing this. I know it's a bit heated, but I'm having a good time. So anyways, we're going to break. We'll be back, everybody.
To the Risen recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a bang. Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up.
But I gotta say, he was smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo Boys playing up against Clarity Black. For the first 20 minutes of the game, it was a bit of fighting in the top lane, but not much happened besides that.
Oh, but the engage coming out from Sejuani, but it's traded back, and Maokai actually regenerated a lot more health than I would expected there.
For Boxer Squirrel, just really those kind of impacts making a huge difference in the gold.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I want to call them Triple B, BBB, or Big Bongo Boys, because they're not all same solos.
Then there was a mega turnaround fight for the Big Bongo Boys after they made a big dragon attempt, but then they got challenged again for the dragon attempt, which Big Bongo Boys won the fight towards.
On this side, and there's a 3v2 on the other side, but I can't punch to it, and I can't cut to it. But Boxer Squirrel in the midst of it all, unable to get too much out, but finds the Q before he's last, dies, and Chicken Fried Rice to escape with good depth, does not unfortunately have the W enough up to heal up. And they call comes back in the circuit, but finds one. Can she find two? No, she gets shut down, and the exchange of lives is so insane. Can Maokai find the damage to Treble back? And he does, but unfortunately, it is the ace on the side of CLB that allows them to get this dragon.
Much later in the game, Big Bongo Boys chased Akali down in the bot lane, meaning that Clarity Black had so much freedom to take that first Baron, and from that Baron, they spiraled away from a teamfight and took the victory.
The higher ranked Clarity Black, and honestly, still performing extremely well.
Oh, and she can't get out simply, tries to ulti over the wall, but that's crucial. 4 members sent down. This is the freest Baron I've seen, and it's incredibly hard to siege anything. As we're talking about that, the dragon does in fact fall.
This will be a very important fight. Dragon Soul on the line. Let's see.
This is so easy, and the onslaught of shadows into all of the members. We talk about Wombo on one side, we talk about Wombo on the other side, but the whole time is not correctly pinned on enough members to make it worth it and to make it so they can make this comeback. And unfortunately, at the end, CLB take the game, and they look to take the game.
And then as we rolled into game 2, Maokai was picked again.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring
Maokai, the Twisted Treant.
Maokai is a support tank hybrid.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Bold move.
Overall,
Normally Darius is only reserved for those counter picks, and it looks like they're just going to respond with Maokai.
And the team was entirely green, so they kind of had the aesthetic advantage for the Big Bongo Boys. For the first 22 minutes, I kind of got distracted watching the LCS. 100 Thieves did win, to a big surprise of all the casters, and then we moved back into the game, where Baron and Soulpoint were both hit here by CLB.
Towards this dragon, we do have good depth running up from base. Let's see if we can get here in time.
And this dragon is down to 9k HP. They opt to pull it out, so the potential steal is has a lot less potential to happen. The Maokai ulti for the engage. They want to make this happen. The Wombo combo, but the bullet time is just barely out of range, but it's not going to matter in the end. The Deathball comes too strong, but this Twitch is free firing in the backline. Good Death trying to stall time for his AD carry, but in a 1v4, when you're already routed and they're already on top of you, they make it look easy.
With CLB taking a massive victory in the second game and this series. It seemed like the casters had gone to Hogwarts, because every single time they were casting and made predictions, they just put a caster curse down on poor Big
As
Bongo
the
Boys.
series is taken by Clarity Black.
And that was Risen Unstoppable for the night. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Risen recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a
Wake
bang.
up!
Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up. Come
But
on,
I
come
gotta
on.
say, he was smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo Boys playing up against Clarity Black. For the first 20 minutes of the game, it was a bit of fighting in the top lane, but not much happened besides that.
Oh, but the engage coming out from Sejuani, but it's trading back, and Maokai actually regenerated a lot more health than I would expected there.
For Boxer Squirrel, just really those kind of impacts making a huge difference in the gold.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I want to call them Triple B, BBB, or Big Bongo Boys, because they're not all same solo.
Big
Then there was a mega turnaround fight for the Big Bongo Boys after they made a big dragon attempt, but then they got challenged again for the dragon attempt, which Big Bongo Boys won the fight towards.
On this side, and there's a 350 on the other side, but I can't punch to it, and I can't cut to it. But Boxer Squirrel in the midst of it all, unable to get too much out, but finds the Q before his last dies, and Chicken Fried Rice to escape with good depth does not unfortunately have the W enough up to heal him. And they call comes back in the circuit, flip finds one. Can she find two? No, she gets shut down, and the exchange of lives is so insane. Can Maokai find the damage to Treble back? And he does, but unfortunately, it is the ace on the side of CLB that allows them to get this dragon.
Much later in the game, Big Bongo Boys chased Akali down in the bot lane, meaning that Clarity Black had so much freedom to take that first Baron, and from that Baron, they spiraled away from a teamfight and took the victory.
The higher ranked Clarity Black, and honestly,
They
still
find
performing
Akali.
extremely well.
Oh, and she can't get out, simply tries to ulti over the wall, but that's crucial. 4 members sent down. This is the freest Baron I've seen, and it's incredibly hard to siege anything. As we're talking about that, the dragon does in fact spawn.
This will be a very important fight. Dragon Soul on the line. Let's see.
This is so easy, and the onslaught of shadows into all of the members. We talk about Wombo on one side, we talk about Wombo on the other side, but the bullet time is not correctly pinned on enough members to make it worth it and to make it so they can make this comeback. And unfortunately, at the end, CLB take the
don't.
ace, and they look to take the game.
And then as we rolled into game 2, Maokai was picked again.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring
Maokai, the Twisted Treant.
Maokai is a support tank hybrid.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Bold move.
Overall,
Normally Darius is only reserved for those counter picks, and it looks like they're just going to respond with Maokai.
And the team was entirely green, so they kind of had the aesthetic advantage for the Big Bongo Boys. For the first 22 minutes, I kind of got distracted watching the LCS. 100 Thieves did win, to a big surprise of all the casters, and then we moved back into the game, where Baron and Soulpoint were both hit here by CLB.
Towards this dragon, we do have good depth running up from base. Let's see if we can get here in time.
And this dragon is down to 9k HP. They opt to pull it out, so the potential steal is has a lot less potential to happen. The Maokai ulti for the engage. They want to make this happen. The Wombo combo, but the bullet time is just barely out of range, but it's not going to matter in the end. The Deathball comes too strong, but this Twitch is free firing in the backline. Good Death trying to stall time for his AD carry, but in a 1v4, when you're already routed and they're already on top of you, they make it look easy.
With CLB taking a massive victory in the second game and this series. It seemed like the casters had gone to Hogwarts, because every single time they were casting and made predictions, they just put a caster curse down on
Okay, welcome to the draft here for game 3. So far we're starting out with the same exact bands. All right, what's expected to change here? I don't think really too much of anything, and I think SS is trolling by hovering that Jinx
the
pin.
Jinx.
They're doing that on purpose because Flevo can play both really well. They're gonna stick with the Misfortune. I don't think SS's bans are gonna change at all. But will SHTC's? Maybe. It just kind of depends. Okay, they're sticking with the Yumi, and I imagine the Fiddle will probably be banned here too. So, at this point, Staff Sucks is just kind of just flashing things like, "Hey, you want to leave this open or not?" And it's something. Another hovering, different picks this time. That's peculiar. Normally they ban the Mordekaiser, so that should still be the same. Yep. Okay, so that remains the same here. Honestly, I get it. And with Mordekaiser being on the map, that's the constant threat to that Jinx. Just ult her into the fight, and everything else kind of just goes on from there. I don't expect the bans to change too much. Now, picks are where I'm focusing more of my attention, especially like what does Stephen Hawking have here? Because it is match point for Staff Sucks right now. And you have to think like, okay, do we pick for something that like that's going to be able to the overrun, or pick for comfort, or do we pick like hard meta? It's just like what's the game plan here? So we're here for the first pick here for Staff Sucks.
I feel like
imagine
you just pick Jinx again. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
you
you just say like, I don't know, it kept working, so why not, right? Like they don't have to fix too much. In fact, them going off on a weird variation didn't really help them.
Okay, there's the
and I mean, like the other side of it too is like, do you want to pick Jinx on the other side? Probably not. You want to stick over with the safer kind of AD carry, and once again, we're probably going to see Varus, probably Thresh again too. I would imagine to see that once again, because weirdly enough, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing, still applies to them too, because it was less of their picks in the last game, it was more of their execution. They can vary those picks a little bit, for sure, but what exactly they're going to change them to, not likely to be anything different. Which does mean that we're likely to see Jinx, or maybe they'll flip it over to Kai'Sa and say, hey, I want to get a Kai'Sa game out. And I would say your probably best bet is to stick on Soraka as well.
Yeah,
I don't think that you really want to move away from that.
Kai'Sa this time.
Dive, but apparently we're seeing Kai'Sa now. Swapping it up, it does mean that it's going to be more mobile to move around in those fights. Less range though, which means that you can't really play at a further distance, and you are looking to kind of get picks off on those more aggressive plays.
I agree.
I think Sun is a good idea?
It's something we don't see too often, but it's really and the Mumu's a much better pick. Okay, I like that much better. The Mumu support coming in to be able to lock down this team fight for Staff Sucks is already looking pretty disgusting.
Literally sad on the sad mummy. I was hoping that he'd be able to pull it out so I could make one joke out of it, and he did. So good, we're gonna get that at least. That being said, I do think it's also generally a good pick into the Thresh, but if we see a set picked up here.
It's been banned the whole series. Yep, so they're gonna lock it in.
It is really good for team fights as well as just for being a side laner. Very strong, still very much like a very run at you kind of make you a problem from that standpoint there. But that being said, it is a great re-engage in fights. So I'm definitely hoping to see something out of that, and I'm pretty confident that Hubris can actually show his hubris here and do a lot of damage. With that being said, though, they are getting rid of the Victor, meaning that that sort of safe wave clear we're not going to be able to see, and just kind of absorbing that kind of pressure. Definitely didn't feel like it was great to play against when they were playing Tristana into it last time, and then taking away the Sejuani here, as well as earlier the Galio, just kind of standard handshake, say, yeah, you get Jarvan, I guess we got to ban Galio. The last thing that's going to be taken away, what's your prediction? What do you think?
Oh, that's a very excellent question. I actually have no idea. That maybe take away the Vi here to keep someone.
I think that the Vi would make a lot of sense too, because you've already shown that your top laner is going to be put over here, but there is still other champions that still could be played with that kind of backline dive. That being said, Kai'Sa's also not. Yeah, that makes more sense. I was going to say Kai'Sa's also not really a champion that you're looking to backline dive as
No.
much, because you're more so like in the thick of the fight, kind of dancing around it. So it doesn't make as much sense. Vygar, I think, is actually a respectable one, because you can kind of stop a lot of what Kai'Sa wants to do, and a lot of what they want to do from kind of going in and diving here, since you've shown that you're not grabbing an Enchanter this time around. Poppy can be a nice answer, though, in the jungle to say the same thing, though, and just kind of deny you going into the back line. What do you see from an answer in terms of mid and top lane pick, though?
I think you draft maybe a control mage here for the mid lane. There is, I mean, I could be wrong. With Kai'Sa having that little bit of AP, they could go really against it. Lilia was open. I did forget that. So that would be Lilia top most likely. Or they're just going to be like, screw you, DBZ, and lock in the Ziggs. Okay, that works too. Ziggs is really good, especially for poke. That long-range poke with the ultimate, that Q travels further than Ornn being open as well secures that really beefy front line. And just the engage on him as well. Just, You combo the Ornn ultimate with the Amumu and the Ziggs ultimate. That's a lot of damage coming in from the Ziggs alone. And then you have Kai'Sa just ult in and clean it all up. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm seeing a pretty nasty wombo combo.
Oh boy, if that is picked. I was just trying to figure out, because looking at that team comp there, I wanted to see something that had kind of just the ability to ignore and like dance around fights and just kind of like look for a target to pick. Ahri was always up on the table, but I didn't know quite the champ pool of the mid laners. If that is a Vladimir, I actually don't think that's that bad of a choice.
No, I think
it's not a champion that you see very often, but against that
really
team,
stupid.
Ahri works too. Ahri is the other one. Vex
okay.
works as well too. They pulled me for a loop. I do think that any of those picks would have worked. Vex is probably the safest one and fits more into their playstyle here. They are at this point though. Unlike in the previous game, at the very least, you had some form of kind of going in afterwards. This is all disengage. You are doubling down on the disengage portion, and I don't necessarily know if that's the greatest play to do here. For one reason alone, backline damage from Ziggs. You are going to have a lot of poke happening from there, and all of that, like, a lot of that damage is going to be coming from him, and you already see that, a lot of them want to go in, but they've got that diversified profile. This is the first draft that I've seen where they don't quite have as many tools. Like, you definitely still can do a lot of stuff, but you're not left with, like, multi-purpose tools, right? You're left with kind of, like, absorb everything, and then we're going to decide to go in. And at this point now, they're in this weird situation where that works on, like, one very specific condition, and that's if they stay ahead. If they stay ahead, they're fine, right? But then on the flip side of that, you've got champions like Ziggs who are looking to accelerate the tempo, bring down towers, and kind of force you to be in the back pedal. You're not going to have that ability. But I want to kind of stop it there, and that's my look on how these are likely going to go.
I agree. I think in the meantime, as I'm looking at both of these, the Poppy is going to be really good for negating some of that engagement from the Amumu and the Jarvan, which is nice. Really good. Vex is going to be looking to burst out the Ziggs and the Kai'Sa. If she lands a pretty good ultimate on one of the two of them, let's assume she's ahead. She kind of just goes. They kind of just go in, and they just die immediately if they're ahead. And Set, you have that great engage coming in, and you combo that with the Varus ultimate, and you can kind of trap everyone in, get that massive damage off. Poppy, also going back to Poppy, now that I'm thinking about it, can also knock the tanks away from the fight if necessary to be able to get to that backline. So that's another very interesting pick choice that they got going on. In the meantime, though, let's toss it back to Haru to see what she thinks about this draft and the Ahri bait in the draft.
Hi, DBZ. Hi, Lucan. How are you? Thanks for inviting me back.
I'm quizzical, and I feel conflicted. Because
you feel conflicted?
I do, because this is the first time that I've seen a draft from Staff Sucks, and I'm confident that they actually won the draft this time in comparison. But then again, on the flip side of that, and maybe I'm like double jeoparding, double something.
Double jinxing?
Maybe double jinxing. Yeah, double jinxing, which is ironic because there's no jinx in this game. So like, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. It wasn't even banned. It wasn't picked. I don't know what's happening. But I'm kind of like I'm seeing double. it's confusing to me because looking at this one, I gotta say that Staff sucks. I still hate your name, but maybe I gotta agree with you on some point, at least on myself, because I've been predicting the other team to win based off of their comp, but now I'm gonna predict you. But does that mean you lose? I don't know. I'm kind of that's the way.
I mean, it's kind of like our kind of curse for the night is like we predict one team and then they lose. But like in terms of like maybe it seems like both games were supposed to come down to like a draft diff, but it came down entirely to like execution diff entirely from like interesting macro decisions to like I mean this is an interesting game and mostly Staff Sucks is picked for comfort. I assume the same for Stephen Hawking as well. I do not remember if their mid laner Slothamp plays Vex. I did not see it when I was looking through their comps, so it is a chance that this is a surprise pick that maybe they've had like in the back pocket for a little while. And I just don't know what's gonna happen here. And let's try to get ahead and like we're gonna have to wait for game. And this is match point too for Staff Sucks, by the way. If Stephen Hawking loses, they're out.
I've been I heard you guys mention the Amumu pick, and I did want to mention that, from the very moment I ever knew Amumu was a character and I heard of his lore being so incredibly heartbreaking and how he's cursed. He is now finally getting chosen a lot and he's a support. So I'm excited to see that pick into the Thresh, which Thresh really kills me.
I can just sense the really disgusting wombo combo that Staff Sucks potentially has. Because you could layer the Jarvan ult on top of the Amumu ultimate, on top of the Ornn ultimate, and then Ziggs ult with the that extra damage, and Kai'Sa just ults in and Qs and cleans up, essentially. That's kind of the headcanon in my head for how these team fights are going to go. Is just the Ornn Horn is just way too good of an engage tool. And just comboing that with arguably one of the best supports in the game in the Amumu right now, it's just...
You had the Poppy to kind of like
I did,
right? So
that
might help out a little here. So I'm before we go into the draft and before I don't get, are you both deciding to predict Staff Sucks?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Yep.
I got it right.
I go based off of draft more than anything else, and I mean, like, I could definitely go into how I feel about the execution for like the mid-late portion of the last game. But like I said, purely based off of draft alone, I gotta give it to Staff Sucks. Like they've just got they've got all the tools necessary that I look for in a team comp, in order to like succeed against the team comp that was thrown out there, because you don't have like you don't have any like true kind of like weaknesses. There's a lot of balance to what they have going on there, and with how they've played recently too, it's just I gotta give it to them.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Especially because like they also have. I know we should not consider the last game too much, but they definitely have the mental edge after that game.
Oh yeah, going out of that last game, you're like, we had it. Like, what do you mean? And that not being the case it definitely sits in your head. On the flip side, though, maybe it's lit a fire under them, and now they really got to move, right? So I mean, like, I can give that to them as well too. If I'm going based off a draft alone, by all means, this time around I am going with Staff Sucks. And I feel like that's a fair assumption, just based off of that. Like I said, the biggest thing for me that I think is kind of the giveaway here is the tools that they have. They're missing one of them over on Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. They don't have a true engage. Like they don't have like a true hard engage. They don't have the ability, and they don't have the ability to like have any dive. Now, if you bring in the dive, you can actually combo that up with a bunch of different stuff on that team. But you not having it is kind of counterproductive to what was sort of making you have success in the first place in the last couple of games. If they, like I said, if they can hold the game, and like have it from the first minute and actually play and stay ahead in that early, like not even play to their strengths. It's just they need to stay ahead from the first minute, and then their team comp is perfect.
Yes.
But they haven't really done that every time. And the last time that they did it, it's because they had a different tool that they didn't have now. So I got to give it to Staff Sucks. Yeah, that's it.
And one thing I do want to mention, like, if hypothetically Stephen Hawking's Dance Club does win this game, that does put the bug in Staff Suck's head. It's like, oh crap, what did we do wrong? What are they doing now? It's like that could potentially, open up the door to having us taking us to game 4. However, if they lose here, Staff Sucks moves on to face Team Dinglebert next week, and I know Dinglebert is watching this game being like, holy crap, their AD carry is really good. What do we do to be able to counteract Flevo from being able to do what he's done in the past 2 games? That's the big things you got to think about, and like they have the advantage because they have a week to prepare. Stephen Hawking's Dance Club has to like do this on the fly between games. So, like it kind of goes to show like too like how good are you at adapting the teams, and that's why I love best of 5s. Adaptations. That is the word of every single best of 5 series. How do you adapt to the series? And Stephen Hawking's Dance Club has shown us that they can adapt in their drafts and then their gameplay for a little while. So like it's like this is a good team.
They're kind of adaptable. They're temporarily adaptable.
They need 40 minutes. Like I find when you're so what I've noticed is Stephen Hawking's Dance Club, they pick a team where it's kind of more towards like mid-late game. And they play passive because I think they want to read their enemy. Like you want to keep your enemies close, so you want to read them. And they just need like 40 to 45 minutes. And then that's, I think, that mark when they can kind of fly off. But it just hasn't been getting there because Staff Sucks. It's like, no,
we want to win
we're not going to let you. We got the staff, and we're going to wave it around, and you're going to suck. Just kidding.
Nice.
So
it's kind of a lighthearted joke, but
the other side to that,
Hawking Dance Club actually makes me want to dance. Like I'm pretty sure that is that a band? I don't know, but it sounds like a band, and it sounds like I want to dance to them. And Staff Sucks can come with their wizard costumes with their staff, and then they can like suck the energy of the dance floor and make it even more fun. So no more tilting. We're gonna be nice to the teams.
I'm not
being
nice.
So cute.
I have one call out that I could really say right now. That like I will say,
nice. Okay.
I'll be fine. I'll word it differently here though. But I will say that before we do get into the game here, which we will be shortly, that Staff Sucks. They have one game plan that they're very good at doing, and they have shown that they do that game plan, and I admire them that they have that. But we'll see if they can execute it once again in the game.
And we'll see.
Stay tuned.
Yes, we'll be back.
To the Risen recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a bang. Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up.
But I gotta say, he was smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo Boys playing up against Clarity Black. For the first 20 minutes of the game, it was a bit of fighting in the top lane, but not much happened besides that.
Oh, but the engage coming out from Sejuani, but it's traded back, and Maokai actually regenerated a lot more health than I would expected there.
For Boxer Squirrel, just really those kind of impacts making a huge difference in the gold.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I want to call them Triple B, BBB, or Big Bongo Boys, because they're not all same solos.
Then there was a mega turnaround fight for the Big Bongo Boys after they made a big dragon attempt, but then they got challenged again for the dragon attempt, which Big Bongo Boys won the fight towards.
On this side, and there's a 3v2 on the other side, but I can't punch to it, and I can't cut to it. But Boxer Squirrel in the midst of it all, unable to get too much out, but finds the Q before he's last, dies, and Chicken Fried Rice to escape with good depth, does not unfortunately have the W enough up to heal him, and the call comes back in the circuit, but finds one. Can she find two? No, she gets shut down, and the exchange of lives is so insane. Can Maokai find the damage to Treble back? And he does, but unfortunately, it is the ace on the side of CLB that allows them to get this dragon.
Much later in the game, Big Bongo Boys chased Akali down in the bot lane, meaning that Clarity Black had so much freedom to take that first Baron, and from that Baron, they spiraled away from a teamfight and took the victory.
The higher ranked Clarity Black, and honestly, still performing extremely well.
Oh, and she can't get out, simply tries to ulti over the wall, but That's crucial. 4 members sent down. This is the freest Baron I've seen, and it's incredibly hard to siege anything. As we're talking about that, the dragon does in fact spawn.
This will be a very important fight. Dragon Soul on the line. Let's see.
This is so easy, and the onslaught of shadows into all of the members. We talk about Wombo on one side, we talk about Wombo on the other side, but the whole time is not correctly pinned on enough members to make it worth it and to make it so they can make this comeback. And unfortunately, at the end, CLB take the game, and they look to take the game.
And then as we rolled into game 2, Maokai was picked again.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring
Maokai, the Twisted Treant.
Maokai is a support tank hybrid.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Bold move.
Overall,
Normally Darius is only reserved for those counter picks, and it looks like they're just going to respond with Maokai.
And the team was entirely green, so they kind of had the aesthetic advantage for the Big Bongo boys. For the first 22 minutes, I kind of got distracted watching the LCS. 100 Thieves did win, to a big surprise of all the casters, and then we moved back into the game, where Baron and Soulpoint were both hit here by CLB.
Towards this dragon, we do have good depth running up from base. Let's see if we can get here in time.
And this dragon is down to 9k HP. They opt to pull it out, so the potential steal is has a lot less potential to happen. The Maokai ulti for the engage. They want to make this happen. The Wombo combo, but the bullet time is just barely out of range, but it's not going to matter in the end. The Deathball comes too strong, but this Twitch is free firing in the backline. Field Death trying to stall time for his 80 carry, but in a 1v4, when you're already routed and they're already on top of you, they make it look easy.
With CLB taking a massive victory in the second game and this series. It seemed like the casters had gone to Hogwarts, because every single time they were casting and made predictions, they just put a caster curse down on poor Big Bongo boys.
The series is taken by Clarity Black.
And that was Risen Unstoppable for the night. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Risen recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a
Wake
bang,
up.
Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up.
But
Come
I
on.
gotta say, he was smooth once he rolled into it.
Hello, and what? Oh, are you going? Am I going? Hi. Hi, everybody. This is game 3. Game 3 out of a best of 5 that is very much was always supposed to be a best of 5. No confusion here whatsoever. And we are 2 games deep of Staff Sucks, bad name, winning the first 2 games. I do think that we are seeing something pretty standard here once again. No invades, nothing exciting there. And while it's understandable, it is still disappointing that that is the case. We're going to be getting a topside red start from the Poppy, and we're getting a Jarvan starting on the blue side. Likely going to be seeing a little bit of bot focus early on in this game.
Now, in the meantime, I wanted to, shout out Unified Live for rating with their 36 viewers. Hello and welcome. We are currently in Game 3 of our best of 5 between Staff Sucks and Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. And as you can see, it's been a series. I wish you were here for Game 2, because you would have heard us flaming. That's pretty much all that happened. But anyways, in all seriousness, yeah.
After the game, he would not stop talking about it. Like, he was just going on, and like, it was like... It was like a new form of PTSD.
Yeah. Okay, we have a very interesting thing here happening in the top side. We have Set kind of just punching the Ornn. Should proc that Conqueror here in just a second. Okay, my camera turned away. There we go.
A lot of free damage coming down
he's starting
here.
to E!
Wow, he's pulling out the damage. He's kind of already out of lane at this point now. I don't think you can really do anything, because you got the Flash coming into the set here, who can just kind of wait at the end of the minion wave and just wait for you to pop back in there. But yeah, you might actually have to see some pressure going topside, because
he's gonna fight.
Oh boy, here we go as we start to see more damage, and wow,
good hook.
He pops back, and then you get the pull in from the Thresh on the wrong target. But a lot of damage being traded back and forth here. Nothing onto the Thresh, but it looks like we are gonna see just kind of a slower-ish kind of start to this game, which is saying something, because I've been running out of breath over the course of these past couple of games. Being play-by-play is not my main choice here, and I will say that I have no more breath. Like, this game has definitely taken my breath away.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been nonstop fighting in both games. It's like to the point where, like, a fight ends, I try to make a point, and oh my god, we have both junglers here on the bot side. We're about to have a fight here in a moment. Unless Jarvan's gonna... Oh, nope, he's gonna go to that
No, I
rush.
definitely see something happening here as it does miss, and we do see that Amumu has gone a little bit too far. Flash needs to be
the hook on
expended,
the
and
Jarvan.
wow, the hook pulled up over to the Jarvan. Damage coming out as the exhaust is also coming down too, but nobody's going to be dying. There is a lot of pressure being thrown in for the Ziggs, taking down damage over onto the Vex under tower, but nobody actually getting away with anything outside of summoner spells. Now, that does change up a bit of the pressure that we're going to see here from the bot side of the map, as there is already a cleanse that is down, and the flash is down over onto Amumu. We've got everything else left up in terms of flashes left over,
Here
but
comes Poppy
Vex
mid.
is kind of pressuring a lot here and not getting anything off.
she?
Might actually die before anything happens.
What?
First blood going over onto the Ziggs. Ziggs actually getting out of there as well too, as Poppy made too much of a step forward and wasn't able to make everything connect. We've got Set also fighting over. I told you this is the reason why I'm out of breath, and there's so much happening all over the map, and that was not really to be expected, but Vex missing that slow and that fear did kind of cost her life.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Didn't respect the damage from the Ziggs Q either, from by the looks of it. Took a lot more damage than she needed to. Gives over first blood to Ziggs, which I would assume he's probably going to go for the Leandries. I know most Ziggs now go for the Leandries to be able to, for that extra bit of poke and to just be kind of annoying. We got tower plates, sorry, falling in the bot lane. And
Very
wow.
early too.
Yeah,
There's
very
a lot
early.
of- And it does make sense. There wasn't able to be anything really put pressure-wise onto bot lane after the flash is taken away from Amumu. So Amumu's looking to say, like, all right, you know what, Kai'Sa, just hold down the line here. You know, listen to Toto, and you're going to have to just, sit back. I'm going to go look for something mid lane. Nothing really happens there. Doesn't even get to mid lane. Realizes not really worth it. And there goes the plate. So we do have a lot of a gold...
This is a cheeky
difference
play.
on that side there, but that being said, another pullback over into here to actually
Amumu does
bring
not have
back
flash here.
Amumu, and there's a lot of damage happening on the Kai'Sa. As Kai'Sa's damage is brought down, Fluva almost going down, and another 3 procs are going to be brought over to here. Does he have the proc to bring it out there? Probably not yet. Oh, he does, and more damage throwing down. I would say they're going to look to push down another wave here and maybe get another plate, because bot lane has just been pushed out of lane on the side of Staff Sucks.
That was actually so close for the Kai'Sa there. I honestly, maybe just this is the peak gold 2 talking, but I would have probably flashed for the auto and probably killed myself. So this is why Water is a better player than I am and not dying giving up unnecessary gold. Jarvan will come here to the bot side, probably catch this wave to keep it from doing anything funky. Yep, he's gonna go ahead and push it out. What is with these kids freezing lanes?
True. Imagine tryharding in a best of 5, like,
That's what I'm
competitive
saying.
league. Like, it's ridiculous.
I would never try out in a best of 5, and that is actually a complete lie. Set's gonna go in, probably.
Oh
Yep,
man, pulling in, grabs him
And
over, ults him
ulting.
back, and doing a lot of damage, as we're likely going to have to see something here in reaction, but it doesn't look like he's actually going to be able to do too much, but that wave is massive. And with the ult being down as well now too, Horn can maybe make the decision to stay up topside there, but what is going to be the cost if he does? He's going to take a lot of damage here
this is
if he doesn't
greedy.
decide to do anything. And is it though, as he starts to do a lot more damage, and that's a pullback, and he's dead. Looks like we've got a little bit more of what was happening in the past few games of Hubris showing his hubris and showing that he's actually just the better player. Every one of these games has kind of been holding on to the balance that he has in winning that lane in the top side. Definitely showing that he is able to outskill his opponent and definitely make him make more mistakes. We've got Poppy waiting over on the boss side of the map here, looking to maybe make a counterplay if something happens, but as well, the wave is starting to push back, maybe pull something back over onto the Amumu. I don't know if they're really going to look to do another play, but it's definitely a possibility. Hubris being denied is back here.
Oh, now they know she's
as
there.
We see
The Void Seeker kind of gives
the
Poppy
Void
away.
Seeker pulling back, yeah, and then just going to be cleared up here, and looks like she's going to be going back.
So with that, they got a plate in the bot side. They have Set getting the kill up there. The gold is actually in favor of Stephen Hawking's Dance Club, so like to see that. Now, will this translate into, like, more of a gold lead coming in? As I say that the gold lead shrinks naturally, that's probably because someone like Super Mega cleared out a lane. But overall, it's just, I would say that both teams have more of a sense of idea what they want to do. Staff Sucks is not in a hurry at all to, like, try to accelerate the game because they're already 2-0 up in this series. So they're kind of, they're kind of chillaxing a little bit, farming up in areas where they need to, playing safe, making good judgments of like what to do here, and the junglers being where they need to be in this case. It looks like Poppy's gonna go towards the top side. She should see that the scuttle was taken there, so I don't think she'll go for the Herald at all. I don't even think she can do it by herself if I can't recall. I would have to honestly look back at LEC VODs to see if she can do it by herself, or LPL VODs rather, because I think it was the LPL that mostly played Poppy in the jungle. Speaking of, ooh, what a trade happening here on the top
Got
side.
some damage coming in from
Oh, the
this
Amumu
set,
hook.
but it's not enough for Cameron to stay on him, so I guess we're not looking at that anymore. As I look back over out in the bot lane, looks like we're going to be doing some standard trades back and forth, but overall, a lot of just standard stuff kind of happening, and the pace has been slower, although it does look like Set is still throwing down some damage here and showing why he is the bigger man, even though that is the bigger body that he is going against. And it looks like we're going to see that pulled over, but the ult comes in. A lot of damage happening as he claps back, and it looks like he might just take him down. And Hubris just maybe getting a little bit too big of himself there. I don't know how much gold that man was sitting back on, but I felt like it had to have been a lot if he was just sitting back and not really getting anything done. Although I will say that Bramble Vest definitely had a lot in determining how that fight went.
Oh yeah, you definitely got that right. And a huge pickup coming in for the Ornn. It negates some of that damage and the passive healing that Set gets. For those of you who know, Set gets an absurd amount of healing the lower his health is. Thresh kind of making they're making a play on the bot lane. They're burning the cleanse.
Oh boy, and it looks like we're getting the pick off once again to bring back, and it looks like Amumu's actually going to be throwing some stuff down.
My God.
As the flag drag is denied from the Poppy, and we do see a lot of damage start to happen over, but a lot of flashes also popped over as well too. Not the greatest communication, as you could have just had the one flash and then brought over the lantern, but nobody dies over on the side of Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. They will end up giving the dragon over to Staff Sucks, though, I would assume. You can't really go back in there. If Vex manages to get a cheeky little steal, wouldn't be the first steal that we've seen of this series. That being said, though, I do think that it's going to handily go over to them, which does actually give them just a little bit more of an advantage there. I don't know how many people have considered or if you've heard just how much the durability patch and as well as the buffs to the Mountain Drakes have increased, how much more valuable the Mountain Drakes are. But one Mountain Drake is quite nice to have. The amount of resistances you actually get from it for the percentage increase is huge. That being said, we're talking about resistances, and I'm also going to talk about how the resistances are a lot on the Ornn already at this point. To the point of where Set is now not really able to contest or fight him, which is a bit of a problem for your strong side top lane going into a weak side top lane against Ornn, the mage assassin, the Lee Sin clone is what I usually call him.
Lee Sin clone.
Mage assassin,
one thing I
mage.
One thing I do want to mention is with that little bit of a little cheeky play that they kind of go, they saw Poppy was in the area trying to game for the Rift Herald, so they instead turn onto it themselves, get the little extra bit of gold. Now, I want to go back to that bot lane fight where Amumu died and, everyone burned flash. You actually say that's worth for Staff Sucks. You burn 3 flashes, you get the dragon off of it, they're going for a cheeky play here in the mid lane, and I think there's no way you fight this. It's 4v3. You shouldn't really go for this.
You definitely can't. Not with the superior vision that's been set up there as well, too. Once again, it's very much a vision game, and it's not the greatest way to look at it, but I don't know why we're not seeing more pressure being brought onto the bot side of the map. There's a lot of waiting around and trying to do stuff against them on their side of the map that is definitely weaker when there is a hodgepodge of wards thrown all around that bot side that just kind of allows them to be super safe, but also should let them control this area of the map. I want to see this Poppy be constantly pushing over here, opening up the bot side of the map, and then coming back over to mid so that we can just hold on to that mid lane tower and push with your strongest lane that is coming out of here with a 20 CS lead currently.
Yeah, and Set right now is losing every single trade against the Ornn. It's just that damage from that Brittle is just too good. And this is also why Poppy wanted to get the Rift Herald, is because Varus was pushing on that side. I think that I'm going to pan over to the tower myself. Yeah, the tower is low enough for the Rift Herald to take that. So, not getting that Herald is really crucial, and they can't open that bot lane tower up as a result for their team. So, Sucks But I mean, it's just they had Staff 6 had the better vision superior at that point. Now Jarvan's here on the bot side, probably going to make a play here. Varus does not have flash yet. They might have seen him coming though, but he's leaving. All right, so I was thinking Jarvan was gonna maybe make a play here, just drop the Herald down there and kind of leave. And Vex is winning kind of hard right now.
He's doing a lot of damage, but it's picked up by the Poppy. I don't know how much I agree with that, considering that's on your tank. It does kind of work out, but I mean, Vex did most of the damage there. Like, you're just kind of like, you should get a participation medal, if anything. That being said, I mean, they do get some of the pressure with the Ziggs being away, and Ziggs has not managed to actually get any sort of tower damage onto that tower yet, so that you can take that as a little bit of a benefit, as we do see the beefy boys smacking each other in the top lane. I would usually say, oh yeah, it's a wet noodle fight, but currently, it's not really that wet of a noodle. It's a very hard noodle that Ornn is hitting him with. Man, that is an awful way to say that. As we do turn away, let's ignore what has happened in the top lane and look towards the fact that Varus is getting bursted and is dead. You do not have the ability to... And then Poppy has to say, get away from me. You know what? You've taken my ADC, but you will not take me. Yeah, I am not really too sure on how well we can look at this game going. I did kind of look at it a little bit earlier on and say that it was going to be opened up, but you just had to kind of like wait for yours to grab stuff and get absorbed into all this. But we have bot lane now opening up again, and we also have this Ziggs getting ready to pop, and not you didn't even need the ultimate in order to pop down that set. And with their most reliable and consistent player not exactly holding that spot at the moment, I do need to turn back over and say that the only hope that we've really got now over onto the side of Stephen Hawking's Dance Club is this Varus. Varus kind of maybe getting to a point where he'll be able to take in some of the stuff and then throw it back at them is kind of a saving grace towards what the game previously has looked like in the past.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised Ziggs also didn't stay up there to kind of take that so much faster with the satchel charge. That would have been, you know, probably the ideal play for me personally. I would have stayed up there, killed the tower, and been able to roam around faster.
I actually get why you didn't. I think it does make a little bit of sense for Ornn to get all that, because he can just match him in the side lane at this point now.
Okay,
you've got the weak side top lane that was already very much destroying the set. You just give him a little bit more of a lead, and set's kind of nullified at this point. It's a very difficult thing to deal with.
Like, it's interesting too, because like Set was banned like this whole series, and it kind of makes you wonder why. Like, you know, maybe Hubris is also just really good on the set, which I do believe he is. It's just unfortunate that I think in this case with the Ornn, he just unfortunately got outmatched currently.
Very much so, yeah. It definitely looks that way. As we start to see a little bit more happen over here, the ultimate does miss from the Vex. The bandage toss also misses. The flash comes through. You get a little bit more, and it looks like a Mumu might be going down again. The question is to who, but the flash comes by anyways, and nothing's happening there. Ultimate comes down over on the set, tosses him over, tosses a little bit more damage. Maybe is anybody dying right now? I guess it's the Ziggs. And it looks like we're going back in here, but oh no, the cleanup maybe by the Kai'Sa. More damage coming through here as we've got wave clear happening here, and it looks like they might be able to just grab the tower. There's not too much left. Poppy ult also throws down the miss. And this fight has been the most missed kill shots I think I've seen all this series. I don't really know what's going on next here, because everybody's just left with Peanuts, and they're just going to be throwing them at each other. And then, you know what? Peanuts don't really do that much damage. I don't know if you've heard. Maybe if they're allergic to them, but I mean, like, I don't think they are. Here we go. As we've got the next wave to be pushed here, it looks like Jarvan's going to be looking over on the side for some form of a flank, if they are going to be clearing anything out there, but maybe they just reset and they look to grab this next major objective here.
That was kind of a really weird fight, I'm not going to lie.
It was awful. It was awful.
Everyone missed
awful to look at.
I mean, in the end, Ziggs does go down, which you're okay with that. That's one of the damage carries of going down. And Varus critically got the kill, which gives him some more gold. I think he's ahead in gold right now. No, they're pretty even. Jinx not Jinx. We've seen Jinx all series, and I've been quoting it. Thresh probably gonna die here to the Jarvan. I mean, what can you do? You have no flash.
There's not too much. You're kind of flanked over on the other side here too. Just waits for the knock up, claps him, says goodbye. Oh, maybe there we go. Says goodbye. Vex is kind of coming up to answer, but it's a little too late. It looks like Reximus is going a little bit too forward for that vision.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it's going to get you TP pressure into the next fight, it's not really worth your life here, considering the pressure loss that you're going to have from this tower going down, especially when you've got a Ziggs. You're going to have a lot of cascading towers happening over next here, as we do start to see that overheading, creeping over into the top side. We've got another wave here, and we've also got 3 members over on Staff Sucks that are just kind of looking to solidify themselves into this jungle here and say that, hey, you know what? At the beginning of the game, this was your jungle. Now it's ours.
Yeah, and Jarvan on the other side picks up the Herald as well. So more towers potentially coming to fall. There's no outer, so at this point you're kind of looking to break an inner tower. Most likely the mid-inner before this next dragon comes up. Or even right when the next dragon comes up to be able to get that Cloud Soul point. I also just noticed it's Cloud Soul, so I kind of do not care for Soul.
I mean, if anything, it definitely does benefit Staff Sucks a little bit more because they can just kind of go with that momentum and just walk between lanes. We've got an emoting Ornn. He's calling the game already. He's dancing. He's saying, "Do you really want to fight me? Has it really done anything for you so far?" And he just kind of walks away. Set does all of his damage, and he says, "You know what? I'm going to heal this up in a little bit here too. Keep doing that. I'll be here all week."
Now, I did want to point out that critically, and a very important item spike has happened for the Ornn. He hit level 13, upgraded his item, which means he's going to be kind of brute forcing for that level 14 to either upgrade the Kai'Sa or the Ziggs. Most likely the Kai'Sa, I would assume here. That's, how close is he? He's about a quarter of the way to level 14. Jarvan is kind of hovering on the other side. We might have a cheeky little fight here happening in the bot lane.
It does look like Jarvan is kind of looking to pose for something here.
Oh,
he's waiting for that to go down before he uses the flag drag, but he is thrown away. Poppy ult also thrown away here as well too, as I see that Kai'Sa has thrown out her Vex R because they look exactly the same, and now that's about all we're gonna see at this point, because in about 43 seconds this next dragon's gonna be coming up. And it looks like we're going to see the vision secured as they kind of creep up and look to zone out any sort of potential takeaway from Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. I don't know if you have too much of an angle to go from here. If you are, I would like to see it happen from grabbing the inside mid lane track, pressuring onto the tower, and then walking straight down river. Is that what we're going to get? Does not actually look like it.
Oh, yeah, there's the Herald right there. As I said, probably not going to break the mid lane.
Got a little bit of a split fight, but we got a TP coming down over very far down over on the bot side, but as well being TP'd onto the Herald, as we see Vex is destroyed by the superior Vex R user. Now, we've got another play coming through, as we do see that Fluvo is on fire. He's propping down the damage, and we see that we've got even more as the clapback happens over from the Ornn, and we've got the tower taken down. We've got another charge happening down over onto this inhib, and are we going to see a Nexus tower go down this early? It is 21 minutes.
So?
We haven't even we got a sub 22-minute Nexus tower take possibly. As here it goes down, and we've got another kind of champion going down here. And oh my God! What has happened with the set? And that's why they banned him. It's all starting to make sense as more people are going down, as the clapback happens, and we do see that everyone is getting cleared out. And while they may have grabbed
that was close.
That Nexus tower, they grabbed everything else. that is the moment that you like to see, as everything that we say as casters does not matter, because at the end of the day, everybody else is dead.
Just set things.
That was ridiculous. That was so much damage. That man wiped out their entire team. That one moment justified the entire set pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, dear God, I mean, it stops the soul stacking, which is good. You still lost at Nexus Tower at under 22 minutes.
Oh,
so I mean, clearly there's hope. There's hope.
There definitely is. That being said, the chances are still kind of slim, but they have reduced that gold lead down to only a 3k deficit, coming off of all of that. And that being said, we are going to see likely a Baron play come in here, because at the same time, you also have cracked open the base of Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. Now, if we are going to see any sort of walk down play, it is likely going to be coming off of this next Baron, and how do we see them winning it? That's what I want to know, DBZ. How are they going to bring this back together? Because they just got some of the tools that they need. Can they bring them all together?
I think they just have to wait for Staff Sucks to use all of their engage tools. That's your best option. Now, the flip side to that is you don't have flashes in any of your like critical like engage tools, the Poppy or the Set. Maybe you get away with it with the Hex Slash from the Thresh. They're doing Baron right now at the moment, and I do not think they should have Vision on it. Yeah, they do.
They definitely should grab Vision here if they didn't, but they already did. And the question is kind of on how they're going to be doing this all together. As everyone's over into the pit, there's a bunch of people knocked up, and there's a bunch of people dead. But at the same time, we do see that there is only one person left over on the side, and it is down to the Set, the one man to go against everything here, and he takes the Baron as well. Now, is it enough to take down this Ornn? I don't think so, unfortunately, because that is a very large boy who is coming over, and the clapback happens, and there it is. That is the clear. How long is everyone down for? About 15 seconds. Can you walk it down mid? Maybe to clear a wave? Is it worth it? No. So, at the end of the day, net loss. A lot actually for
Staff Sucks. Arguably, they don't get the Baron.
Yeah, they don't get the Baron. And before that fight, we were actually sitting in a 3K deficit because of the shutdowns and everything else that happened there. And I mean, if you would have gotten it down over onto the Ornn, it would have been better. We are now only at a 1K difference between these two teams, and that is a lot when you consider that. As weird as this has been, and as much as I was criticizing them for not having like an engage tool before, which I mean they really don't still, them being on the back pedal in their base is ironically the best thing for their comp.
Yeah, let's go back a little bit. We have that nutty, like, okay, so they were doing the Baron, you know, they were 3-manning the Baron while playing like guard control going on. And what happens is Poppy tries to ult out, but Ornn with his W completely negates it. So at that point, they're just like, alright, we have to go in. They go in. They get a couple of good kills. Set does his R and does 1 billion damage as he always does. Does he get picked off here? Probably not. Oh, actually, he takes a lot of damage for it, though, but this bot lane tower should fall. So anyways, going back, they killed the junglers! Both junglers die, so there's no smite. The Baron is at 200 HP while Set and Ornn are kind of just beating each other to death. Set's like, alright, well, this is mine. W's the Baron, swings the gold to 2,500 in the favor of Stephen Hawking.
All right, look, I'm gonna have to stop you here because it does look like they're gonna try to make another push as the Thresh does go down in this fight, possibly. Oh, but on the backside of that too, we've got a ton of damage being brought over, and Kais is already dead as they're bringing it over and back into 3 here, and Vex is dealing even more damage. But dear God, that Ornn takes a lot of hits before he dies. He's finally dead. But off the back of that, another swing over in the other direction here as the gold lead stays at about a 1K difference. Actually, it's only down to about 800 gold right now. And with that being the case, we do see, like I said, that little bit of a swing back. Then it's a little bit creeping back and forth, but it's starting to show where the absorbing of pressure kind of stance that they have with their team comp is able to come through and shine in these team fights. Now, what happens next? I would say, well, we're going to find out the next Dragon fight, but one thing that is constantly being shown here is that, man, Ornn big.
Ornn big.
Ornn big.
That is our top tier analysis. Ornn big.
Ornn big.
Now, we have the dragon coming up here in about 23 seconds. Thresh is going ahead, getting as much vision as you can around it, which is good. I like that. Now, I have to say, Varus has hit his critical point of 3 items and going for the GA next. He has the wit's end to be able to withstand some of that Ziggs damage and be able to just keep pumping out those autos. You have Vex finishing her Shadow Flame. Oh, goodness, Poppy might be caught out here.
I think that was a smart flash, too. You didn't really know what else would be able to follow up from there, and even if they didn't have the kind of dive and the extra CC, it still was a lot of potential to actually do a lot. Now, that being said, big fight over here as they pop over onto the Ziggs, who is dead. That is one dead Yordle. And same thing with the Jarvan from the looks of it as he picks him up before the flag drag is about to go off, and they clear this out, showing that even though they are put on the back pedal here and that they did not have the advantage initially, they now do with a 1K gold swing in an advanced position. for Stephen Hawking's Dance Club, it is so much to say every single time, but apparently I'm going to be saying a lot more of it because, wow, they are putting the pressure down on the mid lane. They're throwing back skill shots as we see that Poppy ult is used, and the hammer is thrown down at them to push them back away, and they grab that tower. Now, do they keep pressuring up? I don't think so. I think you back up here, and you go and grab some vision for yourself to secure yourself over for grabbing something else, because if you can take out that top tower, you have now opened up the map once again, and you may have it a little bit, but that being said, Kai'Sa pushing forward and doing a lot of damage, but the fear coming through and not allowing Kai'Sa to get the kill onto the Thresh. As we do see topside does seem to be taking away that tower. Tower taken away. More gold given down over to the set as we see him backing off, and there's a collapse coming in from here as the Ornn ult comes down and looking to catch him out. Are you going to see anything more of an answer? Because we do have a Mumu coming over. Bandage toss throwing down over at him, and he's backed over with the ultimate, and he's gonna go down here. No, he doesn't. Not quite yet, as he seems to throw it down, but everything is thrown at him in order to do this. That is your main tool for being able to get back into this game. You now need to wait another 46 seconds before you can accept another fight. Otherwise, you are in deep trouble. Now, they did secure a couple of wards, and actually they didn't. I take it back. That's all blue side wards. The entire top side jungle is taken over from all of that vision over from the side of Staff Sucks. And with that being the case, I do think that we are going to see some sort of contention and fight here before the Baron comes up in 17 seconds, but it looks like we're going to see Thresh getting caught out. I am so out of breath. Start the poll already. What is happening? Ziggs is killing the Vex on the bottom side of the map. There he goes. Not quite dead. But man, oh man, is the pressure ramping up over in here.
Yeah, all they have to do is, I think Jarvan and Kai'Sa can just do it on their own. They don't need anyone else there. But looks like
that being said, it looks like Poppy is going to start running forward and looking for this steal. She doesn't have flash, though, and there's no blast cone, but I don't think they're going to see it. It looks like it's going to be taken free of charge. Now, Poppy looking to clear some of the Raptors there before the next fight is going to be starting up. In about 2 minutes, we've got another Dragon coming. But with that being said, the Baron power play is on, and they've got the waves to kind of contest, but they do not have the inhib. Now, if they want to be grabbing anything, they're going to be likely pushing up over into the mid and bot side, grabbing those inhibs, and then looking for something else for another play somewhere else here. But it looks like they're actually going to be deceiving what I want to tell them that they should do, and just going to go and push that top side and clear out all the towers.
Now I'm gonna go into a little bit of a pointer here. Ornn is level 16. There are 3 Ornn items coming in. So, statistically, Staff Sucks is stronger. Because those Ornn items make their items much better. It looks like he's building one for Mumu now. Yep, okay. So, everyone has an Ornn item, which means even when the teams are full build, theoretically, and, Staff Sucks will be stronger coming up. Jarvan is in a really interesting position here.
Jarvan's just trying to be a cheeky little boy in that brush there, but there goes the Poppy saying, nope, don't stay around here. Although it looks like Kai'Sa's going to get a lot of damage off here. Mumu throwing in with his ult, but then back for the bandit toss. Pretty much dead here, though. That being said, there's a lot of damage being thrown back over. It looks like we've got another kill. Oh man, Huber's coming through and showing why he's so big. He's grabbing over and he's doing a lot more damage on him, but as the burn goes down and actually kills the Jarvan, there's a lot more damage coming over from the Kai'Sa, and it looks like the Thresh is dead over on the backside there too. But on the flip side of that, it looks like we've got about even deaths over on here, and it's going to be a 3v3 if anything is going to be engaged, and it is against the main carries of Staff Sucks. But that being said, you've got a lot more versatility for the damage that can come out. Flash popped over on the Ziggs, and it looks like they should keep backing off here, but they still want more. Ornn has popped over back on this other side here, and it looks like they might try to go and pressure over for this next inhib, and no, they're not really going to. They want to back off, reset, and start setting up for this dragon, because there's another dragon that's about to be put over onto them, and even though if it is a Cloud Soul, and it is going to be getting to a Cloud Soul point, the amount of movement speed that is going to be coming out of this team means that they should be able to react to just about any sort of cross play, or any sort of shift that is going to be happening as they push up in those lanes.
Yeah, so 30 seconds till the dragon comes up. It looks like teams are getting on the map. Kai'Sa just reset, so there should be a prime opportunity for SHDC to be able to get some vision along the field. Will they pull off the same thing they did against the Ziggs? Nope, doesn't look like it this time. They're just going to get into position. Vex is going to probably clear this midway first, because Honestly,
And it looks,
if they get the
I'm throwing out here,
inside
it looks like a decision is being made here where they're saying, okay, you know what? You want the dragon? Fine, whatever. Maybe we push mid lane. They're really looking for any kind of opening they have, but the Vex is going to answer with a superior wave clear and is looking to be on the side. But that being said as well, too, they're looking to set up some sort of trap for if Vex decides to rotate back over into grabbing into that dragon. Now, it looks like they're going to be ships passing in the night as they're going to say, you know what? Okay, everyone back over to mid. We're giving up the dragon. We all go back here. Is this the proper play to make, though, with not having any sort of Baron or anything else? Because the past few fights that they have been walking into have not been kind. Now, we do see a lot of damage going on to the Jarvan. Now, Set in the back line, getting the stun off. Does he get his W? Yes, he does. Lots of damage happening over, but it looks like Set might actually die over on the backside of the map. He does it. He doesn't go through, and it looks like the Kai'Sa is going to have it to live throughout all of that, which has not been good because the previous way that everything has gone is because of the Kai'Sa being dead. With Kai'Sa living through all of this, it does look dire in the situation that we're at right now, but that is the Varus coming through, but not being enough, as it seems to be that he's gonna die here, going on the backside, and does he manage to kill the Ornn? Does Ornn kill, or do we see the Set as it comes through, and Ornn does not manage to end the game? I am out of breath.
Oh my god, they get a quadra kill for the Bears. The base is wide open, which is the good news. But like,
the lethal,
come on!
The lethal tempo showing out to be the savior as Varus is pulling off. Man, that was wild. That is a crazy way to keep into this game, but it does mean that one of them is down and that their base is completely open. Nexus is open, but they are going to be able to grab this dragon for, in quotations, free. That was a fight. That was a fight.
Water's just sitting there autoing the Ornn. Ornn's just like, this tickles, and then Set's like, nah, this don't tickle no more.
Oh, man.
The fact that they're holding on to this game, and with 3 Cloud Drakes now, they're on Soul Point, which was not the case 15 minutes ago. Like, it's just insane. Just 15 minutes ago, this looked like it was going to be a
At this point in
puzzle.
time, this next Baron fight pretty much determines the game. We're about 35 minutes in, and we're about as strong as we are going to be seeing for Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. And if that is going to be the case, then how do we see this fight kind of taking over here? Because we haven't, after that play came back and not the Thresh taking a loss here, as we see that Kai'Sa is left to free hit onto the Set in the backline, taking so much damage, and the knockup happening through from the Ornn, but everyone being knocked away. There is so much happening in this fight, and Varus still has not been able to get any real damage off in this fight. Here comes the Vex onto the backside, doing a lot of damage, but Varus is still preoccupied here from that. The double kill comes through. Kai'Sa is back in the match, and that is going to be the game. As Kai'Sa was left to free hit, and we didn't have much happening left over, we're going to see the walk down. The spectator cam did not give me enough to see in that fight, and I'm kind of annoyed. But I will say that that was an amazing last few minutes of that game.
Yeah, that was not so. Stephen Hawking's Dance Club will unfortunately lose, and Staff Sucks will take the series 3-0, and they have a date with Team Dinglebert next week. Team Dinglebert, you better be watching. You better have watched that game. Flevo will take a game, like he will literally take a game and make it his own and just carry his team to victory.
All I'm saying, you pick Vi, you pick Lysandra, and then you just strictly go after Flevo in every game beyond here. That is what you should take from this, because that man, if he is not handled for, not taken care of in fights, will destroy your entire team. That hands down has been the case of what he has been able to throw at you. He is a monster.
He's so good, but it's like yeah, we can praise Flevo all day, but we gotta praise the setup his team gives him. His team gives him so much setup to be able to carry these games. So overall, well, yes, you see, you know, I mean, actually, I take it back. I'm gonna go back to game 2 because Staff Sucks was down the whole game, except for Flevo. Flevo was the only one ahead in game 2, so it's like you gotta stop Flevo. But I mean, just overall, Staff Sucks, just amazing, really good team. And this is why they were first place in Division B, I think it was. It was just
the prediction. You guys got the prediction.
Well, yeah, I mean, we did say they would win. I said
It's
it would
our
be
first
a
prediction. Look at that.
I did say the series would be
The
a
curse is
3-1, and this
broken.
game and game 2 looked like that my prediction would have come true. But man, just little individual mistakes, just walking into areas with no vision, just so unlucky. Just
You know what?
wow.
I think they did try to flip that game back. Like I could feel it. I could feel the intensity.
There definitely was intensity, and it definitely showed that like that. As much as Stephen Hawking's fan club, you lost the game. You definitely tried your damnedest to deal with
Yeah.
Flevo on that. And Hubris, if not anything, showing why he is a monster in that top line. Even though in the early game he actually was very like he was setting himself in a position to kind of be ahead, and he fell back. He showed that in those fights how valuable he was as a player on that champion. And like in every single one of them, when he was able to get off what he needed to get off, he was the reason why they were coming back into those fights. It would be off of the engage coming through, and then he finds the angle, uses the set ult, slams down right in front or on top of the Kai'Sa, and then bursts her down before she can do anything in those fights when she was the team. Let's be real here. As much as the Ziggs was throwing out those bombs left, right, and center in order to do stuff to begin with, Flevo Flevo is staff sucks.
Is
yeah.
There's a comment in the chat. It said Hubris is actually holding on to this game with one finger while dangling off the cliff. That's the description that somebody commented.
Actually, it was like 2 or 3 fights where like Hubris was like made these perfect engages, absolutely annihilated everybody with the set W. I think that's the haymaker, right? With just it set does so much damage. No wonder why they kept it banned against them the whole series. Because I think if those little individual mistakes of them getting caught in places they didn't need to didn't happen, I honestly think Stephen Hawking takes the series with that. And like it was just little things, little mistakes.
I mean, both teams did amazing. I was pretty hyped. I had a lot of fun. There were some picks that I actually have never seen versus each other. So, that was a fun thing for me. And having both your explanation, it was clear as gold for me. So
at the moment we are currently waiting. Never mind, we are no longer waiting. So hello.
Well, actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a short break, get it set up here. But we got an interview with Flevo.
Yeah.
This star player is one way of putting it, and I think that's putting it lightly at this point. For staff sucks.
He's in here already.
Yep. We'll go back over there, get it all set up for production, and then we'll be back with an interview with him.
Back to the Risen recap. Today we're looking towards Risen Unstoppable, and the stream started off with a bang, Quicksand asleep.
It's the first game of Unstoppable Risen pre-made. Come on, get up.
But I gotta say, he was smooth once he rolled into it. And our first series was Big Bongo Boys playing up against Clarity Black. For the first 20 minutes of the game, it was a bit of fighting in the top lane, but not much happened besides that.
Oh, but the engage coming out from Sejuani, but it's trading back, and Maokai actually regenerated a lot more health than I would expected there.
For Boxer Squirrel, just really those kind of impacts making a huge difference in the gold.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I want to call them Triple B, BBB, or Big Bongo Boys, because they're not all same solos.
Then there was a mega turnaround fight for the Big Bongo Boys after they made a big dragon attempt, but then they got challenged again for the dragon attempt, which Big Bongo Boys won the fight towards.
On this side, and there's a 3 on the other side, but I can't punch to it, and I can't cut to it. But Boxer Squirrel in the midst of it all, unable to get too much out, but finds the Q before he's last. Dies, and Chicken Fried Rice to escape with good depth, does not unfortunately have the W enough up to heal him, and they call comes back in the circuit, but finds one. Can she find 2? No, she gets shut down, and the exchange of lives is so insane. Can Maokai find the damage to retrieval back? And he does, but unfortunately, it is the ace on the side of CLB that allows them to get this dragon.
Much later in the game, Big Bongo Boys chased Akali down in the bot lane, meaning that Clarity Black had so much freedom to take that first Baron, and from that Baron, they spiraled away from a teamfight and took the victory.
The higher ranked Clarity Black, and honestly, still performing extremely well.
Oh, and she can't get out simply, tries to ulti over the wall, but that's crucial. 4 members sent down. This is the freest Baron I've seen, and it's incredibly hard to siege anything. As we're talking about that, the dragon does in fact spawn.
This will be a very important fight. Dragon Soul on the line. Let's see.
This is so easy, and the onslaught of shadows into all of the members. We talk about Wombo on one side, we talk about Wombo on the other side, but the whole time is not correctly pinned on enough members to make it worth it and to make it so they can make this comeback. And unfortunately, at the end, CLB take the lead, and they look to take the game.
And then as we rolled into game 2, Maokai was picked again.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight.
Hey everybody, welcome back. So we're here for the interview, and we do have Flevo in the call. Flevo, hello. Thank you for coming and
My pleasure.
interviewing with us today. How are you feeling? Great job on the game. You smashed. Yeah, how are you doing?
I mean, obviously pretty good. That was like some good games. Last game maybe like a bit more like clunky, but the first game was pretty nice. So yeah, feels pretty good to be honest.
That's awesome.
You
Sorry.
definitely played your heart out.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Like I was sweating for you in a lot of those fights, where I'm like, man, if he goes down, but yeah, you did awesome. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we can do as a compliment to you. We did kind of like make a little bit of the joke that like you are your team, but I mean on some level that's pretty true.
Very true.
Very true. It was even shown in the last 2 fights that you lost. That like when you're not there, your team can't do anything.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I can be honest, if I can compare like this league with solo queue, in solo queue I don't get like as much resources, and like my team plays a lot around me, right? So
Yeah.
without them, like I couldn't be like 16-1 and 18-2 in every game. So
Yeah.
even though like yeah, I'm the carry, I guess, but like my team does a lot for me for sure.
Yeah, that was something I actually was gonna ask. Is like what was like the when you guys came together and they saw that like you were like the carry, did they like change up their entire game plan and like funnel all these resources into you? I'll compare you to Danny, to be completely honest, because like that's the same thing Evil Geniuses would do, is funnel all these resources into Danny and let him be able to carry the game. So is that kind of like the game plan that your team decided at the beginning of the elite, at the beginning of draft league, or like did it kind of like come to plan as it went on? I mean, you guys were undefeated, but still.
I feel like it's more like because I don't know if you saw our previous game, we have a lot of like flex pick. You know, we played like Skarner mid, Lilia mid, you know, and Heimer support, and we played even like a Jin support one time. And most of the game is pretty much like the first 10, 15 minutes is like everybody does like what they want, you know, and at the end of the day, I'm just gonna be there to carry, you know. So yeah, it's like everybody can be super fed if they want and carry, and I'll just back up. Like if it's not happening, you know, I'll be there.
So I have a question for you. Just on behalf of Lucan, because he has mentioned this all game. He really feels offended by your name. Are you gonna
What was that name for your
apologize?
team?
And are you
Tell me,
gonna
who was
change
it?
it?
You mean like
Who
our
did it?
team name?
You pointed
or-
more.
Yeah,
You
your
pointed towards
team
him.
name.
I want to have a stern talking to him.
Wait, you mean like
He
our
wants
team
an
name or like?
apology.
The team name,
Team
yeah.
name, yeah.
Okay. Let me explain like the story behind it, because to be honest, like it's like it's just banters, right? We don't actually think staff sucks or anything. The first week of draft, we didn't have a name yet, and I think we asked for like a sub because our support couldn't play, and or jungler I think, and like they refused us sub basically. So that was just the story behind it. We're like, oh, they just call us staff sucks. But like real talk, like I don't know. I mean, like personally, I don't know if I can talk with my teammates, but I don't actually like things like you guys sucks. Like you guys are amazing and doing a great job with.
I love how you're like, hey, listen, man, like I'm just here, I work here. I don't know about the rest of my team. They might think you suck, but I mean, like, not me. I'm telling you, listen, I'm the guy that carries. They choose the name of the team.
I'll be honest. Today, I was looking into stats to just prepare for my like kind of like spiel before this, and I was very impressed by how well you have done throughout the season. What is some like overview of something that has kept you as a strong team to just persist throughout the whole season?
I mean, like I like this game a lot, and I don't know how far I can actually go in this game and how good I can be, but this is my first like I could say like competitive experience, and actually, even though it's like draft league, it's like random people, and it's not like I don't know like LCS level. I just told myself I would try my best and perform like the best I could because I actually want to show that like I'm good at this game, and yeah, that's what like every game before I start, even before this quarterfinals, I was like, I want to be the best. I want to show that I'm gonna be MVP of playoffs, and I'm here for that.
MVP of playoffs. I like
Yeah.
it. So I actually have two things kind of to follow up with that. I think because you guys were gel together as a team super well, I think you guys should stick as a team either for the next draft league that happens, or even I would argue go to one of the pre-made leagues. Get some of that extra. Like you guys stay together and like continue going through these leagues as best you can, and even all the way up to I think whichever one Divine League is, or is like the top league. Even like going to that point, because I think if you guys keep improving, you guys can be a contender even in those other leagues. And second, so now you guys have 3-0'd Stephen Hawking's Dance Club. We say rest in peace to them. But next week, you guys have Team Dinglebert as your matchup. How are you feeling going up against them next week?
I mean, I'm just aiming for finals, so bring it on, whoever comes. I'm just gonna be there to go to
So,
finals.
So you're saying you're going to do the same thing as you did today and
Yeah.
3-0 them?
Exactly. They can come with any plans they want. Like if they want to shut me down, or I don't know where the plan's gonna be. We're gonna go to finals.
You hear that, Team Dinglebert? You better bring your A game next Friday.
Already dropping it out there. I want to throw in one other thing too, to what DBZ said here too, because he said like you guys like joining a pre-made team or whatever. And the question hasn't been too answered there yet, but I did want to throw out as a side note to that. I think that would be a solid idea if you could, especially if it's your first team that you're kind of coming into a competitive experience with. The main reason why is because I got to compliment your guys' your team play actually.
Team play, yeah.
If there was anything that I could see that was working really well for you guys, it was your vision control for one, and the second portion, it was actually it was how well you guys were at just like, hey, we're gonna do this, and then all of you guys just did it. Doesn't matter if it was like a really bad idea half the time too, because sometimes you just ended up making it work because you guys were all there in the first place. But you definitely have that sort of synergy there, and I want to know how you feel about your team, who like not here right now, and they may hate the staff, apparently not you, but like
they don't. They don't hate Santos. We all love you.
Aw, you gotta change your
You know what?
name to,
You know what? I
love
take it back.
staff.
As much as you say staff sucks, it's like an ironic kind of suck.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like in case they
Love stuff
actually lose all games and they don't have to feel that bad. Is that what we're talking about? But they're doing really
Yes.
well, so it's no big deal.
So, wow.
Anyway, so
I have a
there
production
is
thing.
one thing
Oh,
I
you got
do
it? Okay,
need to
never mind.
mention. Oh, you got it? Do you want to do it?
Oh, no. You go ahead.
Do you want to do it at the same time? I'm just gonna
No.
read forward. Oh, okay, so there is a
Everybody in
mention
sync.
that I was supposed to mention. If everybody wants to read in sync, I'll do the countdown
No, we're good.
because we always do.
Go
So
ahead.
our producer Matt. I don't know if anyone knows Matt, but Matt is
He's
awesome.
all right.
I love Matt. I mean, I love everybody in the production group. So, anyways, Matt has mentioned that I'm gonna read word for word because I'm not good at memorizing on the spot. All of Group A has been eliminated tonight. Sad face. Why would that happen? How dare you? It was a complete Group B sweep. All 4 seeds from Group B kicked out of the 4 seeds from Group A. Something to mention. Love
Okay.
that.
Group B supremacy has shown tonight. It is an all Group B semifinals next Friday, which also is the day before Worlds Finals, in case anyone's wondering. Just saying. JDG is gonna win Worlds, just saying. But
Flava,
all in
are you
all,
excited? Oh, sorry.
yeah, I was going to say. So you have played against all of the teams, obviously, who are in semis. So at this point, it's like you guys already know, like potentially, like which each team can do. So will the strategies change at all, or you just keep doing what you're doing?
I mean, I think what we're doing is pretty good. I mean, to be honest, I'll say like most of the game we don't actually know what we're doing because we just randomly just pick stuff and it
Fair.
works. We just have like a good synergy because we're like just not toxic and super like it's just fun guys playing with each other. So yeah, like we're not gonna change plan. I think we're just gonna go with our feelings and still get the win because that's how we do it.
Nice.
I love that you said that your team's not toxic because now that is the proof to everybody to stop being toxic to each other in the community because that community is so mean
This-
sometimes. And yeah,
That
like
that
you want to
team
win,
alone,
if you want to
Staff
get
Sucks
first place,
team
do not
alone
be
not being
toxic.
toxic. Everyone in the league, stop it.
Stop it.
Let's find out how many people play League of Legends. 150 million registered users. Good luck.
Poster boy for non-toxicity.
Staff Sucks said
Yeah.
so. They quoted it. No, actually, specifically, Flevos quoted it.
Apparently, Red Tiger says EOD is very toxic and we're gonna win. That'll be the
Okay,
evil
a
good
little
versus
friendly
evil
competition
matchup.
is okay, but
I do want to say too, speaking of Matt wants us to stop the stream and just end it all. He just wants us.
okay.
He's like,
I'm
please let me go to
so
sleep. It's
sorry.
late.
He has such a cute little poro in the chat. It's all good. Where's my poro?
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say for the last thing, because I have one final question, so that you can out yourself, and I'm gonna ask as the final thing out of all of this, and it's not even about Fiddlesticks, because Fiddlesticks is a normal mid pick. When are you gonna play Kog'Maw Lulu? Because I feel like if you play that, you just kind of win. Like with your play style, if you do that, like I don't see anybody beating you.
We screamed with Karma Lulu and yeah, let's just not talk about it. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
I want you to stop there too, because that doesn't mean it's good, doesn't mean it's bad. That's about
True.
it. And that is Flevo. Is it Flevo? Flevo?
Yeah, Flevo is perfect.
Flevo. I literally said it with a French accent
Yeah,
before. So is it Flevo Luxon?
Yeah, my name is like too long. Just go with Flevo. It's perfect.
Flevo.
Flevo
Yeah.
works for me.
Flevo.
Okay.
Before-
So there's Flevo. This is Flevo.
Wait.
Coming over to the interview. Anybody? Do you have anything
I
last to say
do.
before
I
before
do.
everybody else? No, before everybody else. Before everybody else.
Flevo, I've been to Montreal before, and it's really beautiful.
Yes, it is.
And I wish I had met you, because now that I realize you're actually kind of famous from this interview, I would have been a fan. Like, I am a huge fan, and
Thanks,
one day
thanks.
I'm gonna go visit you again in Montreal, because I'm actually from Canada.
Cool.
Anyway,
then
sorry everybody.
the last
Matt wants to
thing,
go to bed
yeah.
now, so thank you everybody for tuning in, and stay tuned for
Flevo?
next
Yeah.
next
Any
week.
closing words from Flevo here?
Oh wait, yeah, closing
Yeah.
words.
Or DBZ. Yeah, DBZ is also going. Maybe.
Oh yeah, DBZ too.
What was the
No,
last
I'm
word?
just looking forward for next week.
There you
Yeah.
go.
That's funny enough what I was gonna say. We got a banger series next week between Staff Sucks and Team Dinkelbert. Now, I will call them Dinkelberg at some point, but make sure y'all are here next Saturday for that. Next Friday, another
Next
banger best of 5 coming our way. There'll be more G Fuel. There'll be more me. I actually don't know who's gonna be cast.
I'll
will
probably
there be
change
more
my
me?
shirt at least once during the cast because I get sweaty.
Eh, whatever. Whoever it is and casting next week, they'll bring you a banger cast. I'm gonna finally get the heck off my computer, go to bed. Y'all have fun. Goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in, and have a good night, everybody. We
night.
love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Are we doing the
Thank
Kawhi